Good times lie ahead with a company worth keeping. Then a flash a smile in your head. Come on in, the door's open. You'll find your folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let our stories your ear. 'Cause we're talking the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talking the tavern. Promising beer and bad luck.
The moon can dance. And welcome to Monday, January 21st, 2019, the third Monday of the week, something. I'm your host, Travis Sivart. What?
The third Monday of the week.
I know. Some days it feels like there's 3 Mondays in a week, doesn't there?
Yeah.
It's, third Monday of the month, and welcome to Talk of the Tavern. Today's topic is going to be, we went to MarsCon 2019! Yay! It's, let me introduce, now we have 2 co-hosts coming in late. Andrea will be here with Chick-fil-A, for me and her, not for you. And then Kevin will be in as soon as he gets done wanking on the bus and gets home. So let me start by introducing Chris Hall of the Maryland Halls, of the Long and Winding Halls. What are you drinking? What's your vice? You're on Warcraft still, aren't you?
Not anymore.
3 seconds too late.
I have 4 more minutes.
So, what are your vices tonight, sir?
Well, once you finish introductions, I'm going to run away and go get a rum and coke. Because I finished it all before we got started.
Good for you.
Give that man a drink. Yeah, I should
Again, I thought we had 4 more minutes.
So, what drinking heritage do you come from again?
Me?
Yes. Irish, English, German,
Angry.
English. Cat food?
Yeah, pretty English on my father's side.
It's-
Italian and Portuguese on my mother's.
I don't think Portuguese are known for their drunkardness. It's like one of the 7 countries in the world where nobody goes, oh, you're as drunk as a fucking Portuguese guy. Because I'm a pirate. Arr. Now let me go ahead and introduce Elizabeth the Pickle Lady, who was with me all weekend long, except when I...
Well, blow me down.
Arr. I be doing that.
Well, good evening, everybody, and here's to a happy Monday. Here's to another week of outward smiles and inward screams. Tonight I will be drinking water. And I don't know, I might get a little whiskey myself.
Ooh, what kind of whiskey you got hiding in the wings?
And you know what I mean, you know. Fireball.
Oh, that's not bad. As I've said before, I just don't drink it too often, or too much of it when I drink it, because the sugar content in it will give me the headache.
Yeah.
So I'm careful.
Yeah, I haven't had Fireball in 5 years. It's a night of battle darts. It ended poorly.
I haven't had...
I'm okay with just a little bit of ice. I can stomach it. I can, yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Or a nice cup of tea with whiskey in it. But I don't have any regular whiskey. I just have my... Fireball tends to be my emergency. Keep it in the freezer. You never know.
Guess if you had a cinnamon tea, the Fireball might go okay with it.
I make a sweet tea, with honey and mint. And I slow boil mint in it. And Fireball, a sweet tea with it. And it's very good when it's hot. It's easy to drink to me.
Okay. Now, what about our viewers?
Wait. So I've heard.
Oh, right.
Alright, I'm going to run away and refill my...
Okay, you go ahead. I'm going to talk to our viewers here. We got a couple of them coming in, popping in. Now let's do the shout-outs, do the roll call, see who's here. I see we've got Tempe. I'm going to call her out right away. It's because we'll talk about her book for a minute. It's and we're also visited by Deuce, the exhausted kitty.
Worn out.
Yeah, there we go. So what are you guys drinking? What are your vices tonight? What do you got? I guess I do have, for my vices, I think it's just soda and maybe some vaping. It's, I have that within reach. I just never think to do it. We will not be joined by Ed this evening because he's sleepy.
Aww.
So he needed a little extra sleep before work.
But he's just saying, hi, Ed.
He said he might pop in if he wakes up before work and, he's so inclined.
Well, we miss Ed, that's for sure.
We do. We always do because, nobody else researched This Week in History without Ed here. It's, Tempe says, Dr. Pepper, my go-to. So you finally got to meet Tempe now.
I did.
Yeah, it's, you got to meet...
Tempe.
Isn't she adorable? And so nice.
Yes. Yeah, lovely, delightful.
I tell you what, I have really come to appreciate the word nice. I've been using it, and there are a group of friends who I just love how we treat each other. Whether we're teasing or whatever, we're just delightful to each other and supportive. And by supportive, I mean not necessarily like, you could do it. Sometimes it's like, you should stop doing that. It's...
Do it lower.
You should stop doing that. Even the mice were hunchback.
I missed something.
You may
You know
have.
better than just leave it alone.
That's right. It's I guess my other vices tonight are pussy. I've got Mr. Bitey Otter here and Squirrel next to him and Cuttlefish up there and Cuttlefish. It's So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use delaying tactics and hemming and hawing till Andrea and Kevin get on, which should be right about the same time. Not that they snuck off together. That'd be a hell of a trick. Uh-oh, Elizabeth missed that. That's what she gets for leaving us alone. It's you dodged that one. So you know what I'll do? Here, what I said is, Elizabeth, is I'm going to use delaying tactics and hemming and hawing until Andrea and Kevin get back. So I want to do this. Now, we're not sponsored by this product, but this lovely book here, A Timely Revolution. What? I figure we could talk about this, you and I, here. Now, this was written by Tempe, who's in our viewing audience. And now she was proudly displaying it on her table, and the lovely thing is, she was telling me about, selling copies, and, the next day, somebody coming back to her going, I'm already so far into it, and this is great, and that kind of stuff. And she's getting so much positive feedback from strangers and friends alike. And friends, if they don't like it, they're just not going to say anything, unless they're cornered. But they're actively coming back to her. Yeah. It's good! And strangers have no reason to come back to you and say shit unless if it's genuinely a good book. So, I am excited to start reading this. And I've come up with the solution, Elizabeth, for me not reading books. And what I'll do is I'll start reading them on air during the weekdays when I'm streaming on the other channel. And then when I get 3 chapters in, either I'm hooked and want to keep going on my own without, reading aloud to the channel, or I'm not. Either way, I stop reading on the channel that book because now the viewers have heard enough, they know they're interested. So it's just nice little... It hooks me in, it hooks them in, and then I can read the rest off air. And with as many books I have from friends and people that I know who aren't friends, yeah, that'll be a great way of doing this. Because I don't want to read the whole book on air. I want to give them...
You don't want to read the whole book on air?
On
All
air.
The voices?
Oh, well, no, the voices, I'll do voices.
Yeah, you will.
I tend to only do voices to books I know well enough to... Like Robert Asprin's Myth series. You ever read that?
No.
Oh, it's just a fun fantasy book, and they're loosely made in the image of the road movies with Bob Hope, in the feel and whatnot. There's Kevin. Hey, Kevin, you could turn on your camera if you want to, and I'll set up the frame. Or you could wait. Either way. But just so everybody knows who's watching, A Timely Revolution is a historical fiction. The romance plot is a subplot, not the primary plot. So if you're like, well, historical fiction is always code for romance. No, there's sex in it. But the love story is secondary to the primary story, just like in most of the movies. See, and Andrea is pulling up right now. So this is, like I say, hey, there's Gary. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. It's you'll get to hear all about the convention tonight. We're just treading water until we get Kevin and Andrea in. So, I am curious how well the videos from the convention came out, because we were, of course, under 6 stories of hotel, and I was using my hotspot, so, and those times it dropped, so I don't know how those videos actually were. So, up here comes Elizabeth. What's she doing? What are you touching? She's muting herself. She's telling me to hold on. That's the your number 1 sign. The next finger will be a little different. It's we could just stare at her room while she's gone. What do we got? Some shelves with a pickle and some boxes of paper. It looks like her luggage behind her. You could stare into Chris's closet there with his little plastic shelves. Welcome to Talk at the Tavern.
Yeah, nobody look in my closet.
Turn your camera like just a
Well,
smidge.
that's the problem. It doesn't. I guess that's a little better.
Whatever makes you happy.
The problem is where it sits on the
Computer screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes Andrea. She got Chick-fil-A.
I closed the door to the closet, but it's broken off, and the landlord won't fix it.
There she is. I can see her, but I can't smell the Chick-fil-A yet. I can hear the bag rattling.
What's the treat? Are we on?
Yep, we're on.
We are.
Why would you pull it away from me like that?
What's the treat?
Right now it's at a slightly odd angle, but
It's so I got me some Chick-fil-A that I get to eat in front of you. You're welcome. Okay, let's do that. Oh, by the way, Gary says it looked good, at least a smoke out. Saw some of the after hours thing too.
Hi,
Never saw
everybody.
it drop on this end, but didn't see it all. Cool, thank you, Gary. Appreciate that feedback.
Alright, I'll be here in a minute.
No problem. Kevin's also, shuffling and scuffling.
Where?
Well, he's in his house saying, "I'll be here in a
Oh,
minute." We don't. I suggested he turn on the camera so I could set up the frames.
Oh.
He's like, "Sure," in 2 minutes.
No, you won't.
He'll be with us in 10 minutes, but he'll turn the camera on in 2 minutes, and that was 4 minutes ago. So here's the program from this past week at MarsCon in Williamsburg. Hey, there's a Kevin.
Show the back of it.
Okay, I'm working on it. Mute yourself, Kevin. What's wrong with you?
hey, there's a Kevin.
I'm working on it.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, there's music.
Stop
Stream.
the talking on the... Yeah, there we go. That's the words Chris said him.
I'll be back in a moment.
Yes,
Play
sir.
around, do your frame thing. I'll be 2 minutes.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. So I harassed my co-host to, just turn on their damn camera so I could set everything up. Now, it's all pretty much standard setup and good now, but I don't like to tell them that, just in case something is fucked up one day and I need the extra time. But anyhow, here's... They did fairies because their author guest wrote fairies. So it's Land of the Fairy, But on the back, that's John Millington's art of Conquest Publishing that we've all seen here on Talk of the Tavern. And then also, let me reach into my file down here. He also put coloring pages in there for the kids and or the adults. Yeah, it's so the same thing you already saw on the back. He has that.
Nice.
And then this one here I'm going to bring a little closer because the line work is a bit fainter. I guess that'd be the front cover. So we put a coloring page of the front and the back cover. I didn't know he did front and back. Nice. Good job.
Nifty.
What's that?
Nifty.
Yeah. Here comes Andrea. She's going to rearrange the furniture so she's comfy.
I need a chair.
I wasn't sure how you...
A little closer, so you should be able to hear me better now.
Okie dokie. And I don't know where Elizabeth went. She heard Andrea's here. She left.
Damn it. Well, she texted me. She's like, "Are we starting?" I'm like, "I'm not even there yet." Because, schedule. Oh, I see Kevin's curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Is he hiding?
As much as you are. So how did the drive go? Everything smooth with Frank? Have a good time?
Oh, yeah. We talked about games and stuff and listened to comedy and some punk music because that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. As soon as you're comfy, you can tell everybody what your vices are.
Well, I ate my Chick-fil-A already.
I wonder if the one gentleman who heard you were in a bathroom and got all excited will be watching tonight.
Oh. Oh, from the smoke out?
Yeah.
I am completely dressed into this in my work clothes, but it's freaking freezing. Our yard has dried up, but it is all frozen mud now. So, holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, and for the next week.
It's just a big soggy mess out there. It's half covered in snow and half just mud.
And for the week to next 10 days, we're still expecting freezing.
Yeah, I know.
Temps.
And I don't. And at work, the heat wasn't working. It was so cold. But yet they were putting out air conditions. Go figure that one.
Are the heaters on sale yet?
Well, there's no heaters because it's cold, and there's like a few crappy ones that will heat here. It's just for a desk or whatever. But there's air conditions.
I think we're okay without that. Are you ready, Kevin, or should we give you a little more time?
Are you muted?
I think he just hid it. He hided.
He hiding. Elizabeth ran. Is Elizabeth hiding?
Is she doing what? She's right there.
I see her.
She got a bowl of beets or something.
Is that your board? Are you drawing? Oh,
She can't hear you.
She can't hear me.
Zach, how are you?
Zach.
Zach is the guy with the dinosaurs with the monocles and mustache. Him and Heather.
You know
Oh,
what?
right on.
And he followed us last night, and he just
To our house.
posted.
I was going
posted.
to say, you mean like stalked you down the street?
Yeah.
They're a fucking adorable couple.
Oh my goodness.
I bring a blanket out in the yard when they're staring at us.
Those dinosaurs are so friggin' cute.
And her art.
And the art. Oh my god, the art is beautiful. Hey guys, put up a link if there's a place for the viewers to buy your stuff.
Zach, let me ask this. Yes, of course, post a link to your website, please. Now, is M Not a Moose, is that your Twitch channel that you stream from when you stream? So I could do a shout out for people to follow. Yeah, he followed last night. I had no idea who it was.
Not a moose.
Then he actually popped it. Well, I knew it was not a moose, but that leaves a
I
lot
don't
of
know, it
options.
might be a moose. Moose and squirrel. Moose and squirrel.
Moose in the woods in.
Moose and squirrel.
Brian Regan. He's great.
So tonight, guys, after we do Kevin's intro, where he talks about what vices he has tonight, we're going to talk about this past weekend at MarsCon. and maybe have a tangent or two once in a while.
I missed the cat so much this weekend.
Kevin, what do you have tonight, sir?
Black coffee, drum tobacco, same as always. Back to you.
Some
need
nights
some
were
of that
concise.
Did you do an opening toast?
No,
Oh, well,
I didn't have all my people do it.
well, let's do it.
Here's to those beautiful weekends, moments or days where you actually get together with the people you like and hang out.
Here, here.
Yeah, here's
Clink.
those, and eventually having one.
Hey, we came out to visit you. It's your turn.
There we
I
go.
know. I'm working on it.
We'll do a Kickstarter.
Give me a second. I'm doing a shout out for them. Everybody can go follow Am Not a Moose. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up right now.
You never know. My country keeps disintegrating the way it is at the moment. I might well be applying for asylum sometime soon.
Well, don't do it to the U.S.
A mental asylum.
Oh, we have plenty of those.
That
You
makes
can
me.
look in the U.S. You're gonna have to change your name. Garcia Hernandez works.
No, those are being exiled. And
Only
yeah,
the valedictorians.
What's the Mexican for crew? Like the crew of this shit? Because that's not my surname. Someone who speaks Spanish, let me know.
I do, but not that type of words.
for
Yeah, I
crew.
don't at all. I'm
No.
British. We automatically shun all foreign languages as they should have learned English.
Even the Americans.
Coupled with our well-known technique of getting along with people who don't speak English by just talking slower and louder until they get the point.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, if that fails, we generally tend to just colonise their nation, strip it of resources, and then hand it back to them in independence. Oh, sorry. Damn it, I'm letting my unpatriotic side out again. I must fly the flag.
I think it's Patronage.
It's what?
Patronage.
Awesome. There you go.
Or as Americans
Pastanak?
say, personal.
It's personal. Kevin Personal sounds like a private Twitch channel.
Yeah, it
Not
does.
personal.
It's just me rubbing my talk of the tavern nipple tassels for 6 hours a day.
You say nipple
Some people
tassels?
have all the luck.
What am
Yeah.
I missing?
Apparently, the tassels.
I guess.
But,
Oh.
I figured while they were going on, I'd eat my sandwich.
Hey.
Yes,
Hey.
yes.
Hey. Hey.
Oh yeah, there was one of our guests this weekend.
Say Paul.
Love it.
Is that a pickle on a stick?
Oh, my stick is too long for this. Hang on, I have to do some quick adjustments.
No, it's not a pickle.
It's a spag ball.
It's a spag ball.
Is that what it is?
I explained what a spag ball was to someone.
Remember when we were talking about spag balls?
Yeah.
It's a meatball on a stick.
She made a
That's
puppet.
awesome.
Hey, Andrea. Andrea.
What?
Andrea. How you doing? How you doing?
Welcome to Talk of the Tavern.
She's always trying to put her ball on me.
Alright, that's when I get old and hilarious. What are we talking?
I'm impressed by the size of your balls, Elizabeth.
Thank you. They're gonna get bigger and bolder. That's just the first one. Oh, my camera won't stand.
Did you talk about anything yet?
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you when you take a bite.
We talked about Tempe's book,
Yes.
and that's where we were still have a little more to talk about it.
I will be reading that.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Why? She's like, read my book. Okay.
Because of the inordinate amount of pressure that Tempe put on her.
Okay. Well, she talks about her cat all the time. She's like, I based a horse in this on my cat. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta read that.
You know, she signed it and then she handed it to me. And I thought, now I have to read it because this is an author, this is an artist willing to put their name on their work and and really wanted me to read it. Which is what I do. I give my work away. Hand over fist. I'll read it. Good for her.
We gave some of it away at the convention.
Oh,
On a
yeah.
calendar. What is that?
Is that a tiny wiener? What is that?
I just saw myself on Twitch, like, oh, I shouldn't have done
I
that.
think I think it was a beat.
Whatever. I've heard it both ways.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to start chronologically. Tempe says, guilt is a glorious thing. No. Well, she is a mom, but she has some experience with this. And,
And her husband is real. We met him.
we did meet him. You want to tell about that encounter?
He's real. No.
She's so descriptive. I don't know why you're not writing.
I know, right?
Like Elizabeth is broadcasting from a swimming pool in her bedroom. You're gonna get a little head
I
fin.
didn't want to do this again.
I'm still trying to figure. Are those?
It's a beet.
It is a beet.
Yeah.
It
It's
looks like
sliced beets.
it looks like solidified cranberry sauce.
Might be.
No, it's actually a lovely broccoli salad my mother made for this potluck.
That's
And
not
that's
broccoli.
the
She's been
sauce
lying
I
to you.
made the other night, and another page.
That's a beet.
Are they by Dre?
Beets will
Are they
help
by
your
Dre?
astral project. What are they? What?
By
Are they
Dre.
Beets by Trey.
No, but I can feel the rhythm right now.
Well, it's gonna get you.
Cameron.
Oh.
Do I win bonus points for recognising where that's from?
No,
Ooh, give them a prize.
Okay.
it's from an awesome song that we all love every time we fucking hear it.
Oh.
Absolutely. I'm telling the genuine truth now. From my childhood, in a box of records in my dad's loft, I have the Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine album that is from
The rhythm is going to get you. That one.
tonight.
And right after it, Whitney Houston with "I Want to Dance with Somebody."
Heck yeah.
Lionel Richie's Hello.
Oh yeah.
Every time I think about the kind of music I was into when I was a really young child and only just discovering music, I'm constantly surprised I didn't grow up gay.
Are you sure?
A lot of people are also constantly surprised that I didn't. And hello, Heather. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Good to see you.
Oh, is that the other dinosaur person?
That is, and her name is Pterodactyls, but it's P Terrible Dactyls.
That's fabulous.
It's clever,
I saw
isn't it?
that. I thought it was a really clever name.
Yeah, it's. I like that. It's well done. Well done. There we go. Spicy chicken sandwich. Had to wash it down. So yeah, we met Tempe's husband. He's a big fellow.
Yeah, he is. And I said, put your pants back on.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate that. 11 months in a row.
Wow, that's dedication.
Probably one of ours.
It's all the beats. I'm sorry. This is what happens when Elizabeth gets sleep. She's happy again.
So, how long did you sleep today, Elizabeth, after the convention?
Not long enough. Only about 7 hours. But
Oh,
I
you
got
had
a
that.
nice swim in, so life is good.
I'm so tired.
What?
I want that much sleep. I had to work, and then when I got home, I had to take my kid home and rush back here. So if I
Aw.
fall asleep, don't mind me.
It's bonus material if she falls asleep. It's
I'm one of those horrible people who are single with no kids. That means I get to sleep in and have nice things.
masturbate any time of the
I
day.
I worked until midnight tonight, and after about 9:15, I was the only person in the bar.
Oh.
Which wouldn't be so bad, but I'm not allowed to drink when I'm working, apparently.
So why were you the only
It's
person?
rubbish rule, yeah.
Nobody was there.
What was going on that nobody was there tonight?
We were a rural pub out in the middle of nowhere. Literally, the nearest building to us, apart from one house across the road, is about 3/4 of a mile away. And we're not on a main road, not in a town. So unless you're actually coming to us to drink and dine, there's no one in the area. And it was just one of those nights where no one came up.
Gotcha.
This time of year it happens occasionally. It's quite rare. During the summer, there's very rarely a night where we haven't got people in. But this time of year, especially when the weather's as miserable as it is here on the island tonight, it's not unusual after the normal sort of dining period in the early evenings.
Got it. We're good.
You lost.
You did.
Not for a 20-minute diatribe on it.
Recently, you were touting on about how busy you were and you hadn't had a break and so many people. And now you're starting to tout how you just had to sit there at work and get paid.
Yeah, but I'm still working. I'm still doing the same number of hours. I'm still being worked mercilessly like a budget line and wage dog, but now I'm bored as well.
I'm going to bring us back to the topic now, guys. Look at me strong arm him. So,
Yes.
Tempe, Zach, Heather, how much sleep did you guys get? It's, I'd ask Chris how much sleep he got, but I heard about his weekend. And he is a life lesson. So, this morning he and I got on, and what was like one of the first things I asked, how are you? And you said, do you remember?
Nope.
You said, I have pizza, World of Warcraft, and slept in. Life is good.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, no. It was a lovely day.
Heather's.
First Martin Luther King Day I've had off in,
Oh,
I don't know,
it is.
5-6 years.
Nice.
So a 3-day weekend.
Woohoo!
I didn't put pants on until I had to come on for the show.
Aw.
Now, what about you, Kevin? Do you get to sleep in tomorrow at all?
Do I get to sleep tomorrow? Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, I can have a lay-in the morning.
Oh, look at that. Tempe took a nap at 8 p.m., went to bed at 1. Spam call woke you at 9 a.m.?
Oh. I hate when the canned meat calls me.
It's called heartburn, isn't it?
Spam?
When it calls you.
No, that's unicorn meat. That's why they're so rare. They're in cans.
So if you eat spam, do you fart rainbows?
I don't know. Give me a minute.
She's chugging. Look at it, just dribble down her face.
I don't like this chair.
That's how you do it MarsCon style.
Is that a flask hidden in a pickle?
She made that.
Tell me I can buy those somewhere.
I'll make you one, personalize it. That'll be next year's Christmas present.
You just have to come get it.
Yeah.
So Zach says,
Person.
I think I got plenty of sleep, but I've had a con hangover all day. And then Heather says, still tired. I got a cleaning bug and decided to Con Marie, the Japanese chick from Tidy Up.
Yeah.
All my clothes today took 5 hours to go through everything. That's not bad. 5 hours is better than a lot of the folks on the show. It's, I never get con hangovers or con crud. What about you, Elizabeth?
If I have a hangover, it's usually at the con.
You do tend to dry up on Sunday, don't you?
I was really good. I didn't have any hangovers this con because I told you I'd help you out with things. So I wasn't gonna, push it. And, but one time, I'll admit to this. It was the first time I was at Jack's. I was so hungover.
How hungover were you?
Even the mice were hunchbacked.
As I'm pushing the cart to my car with all my luggage, I'm giggling because it hurts so bad. So I'm going all across the parking lot, all the way home. I think I drove like this.
Oh, my goodness.
Suddenly you're a 75-year-old woman in Florida.
I someone who knew me saw me just like fly past them. They said, "Well, I think you're going a little fast." I'm like, "Yeah, probably."
You should use a car next time.
Not this time. This time I was very good. I was a good girl. I'm a good girl. I am. That's all.
Absolutely are. It's Did we have more about Tempe's husband? Oh, we talked about the show to Tempe's husband. He was hard to read. I have no idea if he was like interested or like, will this guy shut up and leave? No clue.
Well, when he walked away, that was kind of a clue.
When I walked away for it, I don't know. Gary says, thought I'd take a look at Fireside Creations while the link was there, and there's some truly creative, cute items there.
That's their thing, right?
That's their website, yeah. Zach and
I know, it's
Heather's.
adorable.
Well, now I'm actually curious if they... Fred! Oh yeah, we've all got pussy.
Aw, Fred!
Pussy for everyone. I feel like grabbing mine.
You have one in your lap.
No, I don't. That's
Oh,
my huge cock.
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
I just
It has a cup of tea.
That's a good angle. They got a good angle on that shot right there.
Oh, it's adorable.
We're going to look at the illustrations.
What are you looking at? So for the listeners.
The
You can't
website
see.
for...
You know Fireside Creations that they posted a link to that I just read Gary's comment about?
Okay.
That I said I'm going to click on it and look at it? That.
Oh, the owls. Is
It's
he not wearing pants?
And I can post it again if anybody wants to. He has pants.
You
They're
know,
big.
I thought that too, but they're just khaki.
Khakis.
Oh, look at that one, Andrea.
Are they in the are they in the sandbox or the litter box?
It's the oh. It's
That's
hard
so
to tell.
cute, though.
You know that? Look at the look on that cat. He's staring at that sandbox going, I'll be over
It
there.
looks like our cats.
Thanks, Fred.
Oh, I like the owls and stuff. They're so cute.
We can send that to Greg.
Oh yeah, because dinosaurs.
Yeah. Okay. Let's scroll back down. Oh. Hey, how are you, Horks? Talk of the Tavern is back. Here we go.
Woo-woo.
Website still needs updated. Heather says thank you. So we got a pretty... What are you doing there, Elizabeth? See, Horks, you are correct. If I think... Except Zach and Heather might have changed this. We were at 420 followers on Talk of the Tavern for like 3 or 4 weeks. And we might be at 422 now.
That's funny.
I'm going to look. Let's see here. Page has to populate with my
So,
incredible...
what do you guys stream? What does he stream? Zach, right? What does Zach stream? Do you know?
No, I pulled up the page, but I didn't have a chance to go through his videos and stalk them properly. But Zach, let us know what you stream. Heather, I know she streams art.
Oh.
And from what I saw on her stream, they took a break, though.
I will go follow you guys in a little bit.
Yeah.
What you need to do is just hold those dinosaurs and say they're orphans and play that song.
Zach can sing it.
In the arms of the angels.
That's horrible. It's so sad. Oh, don't do that while I'm looking at Fred now.
Look, Fred, it's your transatlantic fan club.
Fred. We love you, Fred.
Yeah. Fred says, thanks, I'm entirely indifferent to your existence.
As it should be.
As cats do. Yeah.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's so funny.
So let's see. Horks, what are you up to tonight? And by the way, Zach there says, I'm a variety gamer, and Heather does art, and we'll do some variety games as well.
Oh, cool.
Horks? No, we shall not. Because it's illegal where we are, so we would never break the law and light up any kind of illegal substance.
I don't smoke anyway. Even if it was legal, I wouldn't smoke it.
The cigar, I would love to, but it is like below 27 degrees here, so I can't even crack a window without us freezing to death. And I am so not going to smoke this lovely woman out of the room.
Because I'll probably light one up too, and we need a window.
Yeah. But other than that, we would absolutely join you. Smoke it for us. Toast us with your blunt or whatever hat you have. And we will cheer you on. But,
Hear, hear.
how is it in Maryland, Chris? Is it legal there or illegal there?
Illegal still in Maryland.
Okay.
DC, you're good.
Well, that figures. It's like, or where are all the lawmakers? Let's get it legal there real quick.
Well, you still can't possess it, but you can smoke it. It's really dumb.
It sounds that way.
Or like you can possess up to a minuscule amount, and anything off of that is possession with intent to sell. And it's like, but like if I just want to, you also can't sell it.
What?
But it's okay to have it.
Well, let me ask, what if you're white? What's the rules then?
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, no, it's really dumb in DC.
So Gary says,
Us here in Maryland, when oh god no, when everyone was like no, yes.
no, yes. You having sex with yourself? What's going on right there?
You're not in the basement. What's going?
No, but there are people down there again this evening.
Was it on the schedule?
No.
Take
Oh.
the camera with you.
It wasn't on the
Don't
schedule.
go that
Okay, sign out here, sign into Discord on your phone, and give us a tour.
Quiet.
And when they're like, oh my god, they can see our faces, go, no, I have the black dot software up that covers your face. So Gary says, so many more choices now that I don't smoke anymore. In our day, Sonny, we had to wait for Christmas harvest for Puna butter or Maui Wowie. It's
Back in my
Fred is
day.
adorable.
No, it's so right. It's perfect.
Yeah, he's not wrong, is he?
It's perfect.
Are you talking about Maui Wowie or Fred?
Yes.
Fred!
Oh.
Don't smoke the cat. Kevin, I didn't mean for you to not talk at all.
It's fine.
You're so quiet. I feel like I hurt your feelings.
Look, at least 2 or 3 times a year we have shows like this where the topic of the show is, hey, we went to MarsCon, and I always show up and I'm like, yeah, I didn't.
But you could ask
1,000
questions.
miles away. I don't have con hangovers. I have con envy. As I watch all of you enjoying cons via the medium of Facebook and Instagram, whilst I'm here all alone.
In your bar.
Hey, you need to come out next year.
Just me and Fred hanging out. Yeah, Fred invites me to a tea social in the morning. I give him a lecture on costuming. It's good.
Poor Fred.
Poor Fred. You're okay with Kevin get a tea social?
Doesn't even have to wait in any lines. It's awesome.
Fred is the line
Good luck.
in the sand.
No, but for the line, Fred waits at the door, Kevin opens it, Fred goes out, then he hears... opens the door, Fred comes in, then Fred goes, wow! Opens the door, Fred goes out, then he hears...
I have a cat flap. You don't think Fred would rely on a human being to do anything? Hates humans.
He's smart.
He has a cat flap.
Because I'm war when I produce food.
Yeah. He
Yes,
associates you with food.
So what you're saying is you have a cat flap and you produce food? Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird. I got
Pussy
a visual.
flaps.
I got a visual.
And the arms of the angels.
There we go. We'll make it Fred count.
Where are you producing this food?
He's far more entertaining than I am.
I really wanted to get Andrea one of those black fuzzy bat things with the horns.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
That looks like our cat Goblin.
Looks just like him.
It's
if you go on Ozzy Osbourne's website, you can currently buy in his merchandising an anniversary bat, because this year is the 25th anniversary of when you infamously bit a head off a bat. So you can buy a plushy bat with a Velcro head that's removable, so you can rip the head.
That's great.
It's only 25 years?
Oh.
Something, maybe it's longer than that. I just pulled
55
that in
years.
there. I might be misquoting that. Oh,
You're-
man, Ozzy's not that old.
No, he's older.
He
No,
is-
he's really 26.
It's just all the drugs made him look like that.
It's rough. What does it say?
Good
Which
deal.
part?
Oh my
I don't know,
God,
I
will you
can't
get the
see.
talons out
It
of
is
my
weird.
kneecap, jeez.
Here, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Gary saying, encouraging Chris for impromptu dungeon
Earning
play.
his name tonight, aren't you? For those people who've never met Fred before, by the way, Fred's full name on his birth certificate is Freddie Krueger, as he was named because when we got him as a kid, and he had the most ridiculously huge claws, even then I've ever seen on a cat, and the little bastard's got them very right in my patella.
John just popped on saying we share a birthday. I'm guessing he means him and Ozzy as opposed to him and Fred. John, we did show off your artwork earlier.
I
on the,
still forgot. He's like, come back and get these books. Okay. Yeah, it didn't happen.
that's why we do things. Fred.
36 years ago.
36 years ago.
Wow.
Yesterday.
Wow. Okay, that's more like
It is yesterday over in the UK. It's next week. What year is it there?
He's ignoring you.
What year is it here? No, this is the Isle of Wight. It's about 1954.
Sounds about right.
It's now I'm going to step away and get a refill of my drink here in a moment. But, maybe
Maybe
we'll,
I'll get you soda if you or whatever you want.
no, I can get it. That way you guys have a chance to talk.
We'll talk about him when he leaves.
Now let me ask you:
Never know.
You can tell us about the costume contest.
do any of you guys are you able to see the chat of Twitch?
Yeah, actually, if I
Yes.
click across.
Okay. So Chris
I
and
normally sit on Discord just because it's easier to see you guys. But yeah.
what I tend to do is I make Discord the size of the part that's not the chat box.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, but
I can't see
That
the
would
words
make a lot
from
more
here.
sense.
tell them about the costume contest.
There-
And tell them about the winner.
Oh my God. Okay. I see. I'm glad I wasn't a judge. Elizabeth was a judge. They had a moonkin. You want to tell? You want to tell about the moonkin?
Explain what one is.
Oh, I'll tell about
Oh,
it.
well-
There was a... You can tell. I don't
Okay.
mind.
Well, I'll tell about what it is. Moonkin is the cutest owl thingy character in World of Warcraft. I love them. Chris is one, and I like to follow behind him and watch his little feathery tail bounce. Okay. Go ahead. And Elizabeth was a judge.
They're also known as an owl bear.
Oh, they're beautiful. And there was someone that designed a costume that actually transformed her human form. It was a woman, I believe.
Yeah.
Into this, what would they call it? Moonkin.
Moonkin.
And broke up her silhouette to where she no longer looked human. She looked like a moonkin. And had a moving jaw
Yes.
and layers of feathers and fur. And even when she held out her wings, it was different types of feathers, like flight feathers. And then she paid attention to it. She designed, even the lower half, it looked like the way she created this massive form, it hid the shape of the human legs. And it alluded to the fact like it was animalistic legs with that large curve of the knee. And it was really well done. She completely lost the human form, and it became this creature. It was really inspired.
It
I'm
was.
sure hotter than hell. Just
Oh, yeah.
I
layers
can
and
imagine.
layers.
Yeah, it was really fucking
And,
hot. I got wood.
And I didn't, because I run the contest, I coordinate and I have to do all the behind the scenes. I didn't get to see the performance, but apparently she did the little dance and everything. Like, oh,
She did the noise. She did the dance.
She did the noise?
acted. Yeah.
oh,
What noise did she do?
I can't remember quite.
The little moonkin
honestly,
noise.
it's overwhelming to judge.
Chris, what is the moonkin noise?
I don't know that I've ever paid attention to the Moonkin noise.
Really, when we had
Was
all
it
those
like-
little baby ones doing it, and you
Was
click
it
on-
like, ooh?
No, that's a whale.
And it was like, or something weird.
Okay.
So cute.
Yeah, alright, yeah, that is the baby Moonkin noise.
Uh-huh.
Right, that's the baby one, but the big one is like this almost foghorn conch noise.
But she was carrying a little baby one too, so it was
And
great.
she's got the Tauren horns, too, it looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really good.
And I do want to show you.
And I didn't even know what she looked like till she followed me on Instagram today. Yeah, she followed me.
That's right.
I didn't know what she looked like because she was in character the whole weekend. I'm like, I didn't even know it was a female in there. I'm like, this is great. It was great.
Yeah, it's always fun when the human form disappears, and suddenly, the silhouette has completely changed, and suddenly there's something on stage. I love that, and I have to admit, last year with the xenomorph, that was part of it for me. Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really transformed, broke apart the chick. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
So
design
yeah,
is important.
I was very impressed. I don't do that, but I love to look at all that stuff. So as a judge, you want to talk about the contest? Because you actually got to see them perform and do things.
I did. I'm trying to put together my thoughts. I love judging the contest, and I love working with the other judges. It's very fun. It's very difficult to judge people when they're trying so hard. But it sure is a joy to be around that energy. I loved Little Velma, winner of the children's category. And I initially saw her, the kids, so much of the costumes are just store-bought. I wasn't sure. I think Spider-Man I was rooting for her, but she had such a funny little act. And they call it, for those of you who don't know, perhaps when you do a costume contest, you are called out on stage, and people can look at your costume, and then it is somewhat expected. You say something or strike a pose or do something.
Little performance, yeah.
How old do you think she was? 5?
She was 5. Yeah, she's 5.
She's in a little orange sweater and skirt and shoes, and she has those big glasses like Velma from Scooby-Doo. And a magnifying glass. And she comes out on stage, and then she drops her glasses, and then she crawls around on the floor on her hands and knees looking for her glasses, and then finds them and gets the magnifying glass. It was all set up. It was darling. It broke your heart.
Did she say jinkies?
She did not say jinky, but she did not pee herself, so.
Oh,
And Vilma does both.
there was this little boy and his little, he was cute. I think he was like 3 or 4. This little boy dressed as a tiny Captain America. And when they were in line, he was all excited. He gets up there and he's like the third one, there's a couple in front of him and he's in tears. He's like, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm like, I'll walk with you or whatever. He's like, no. I said, okay, you don't have to. But come right here and watch these kids in front of you do it. After he saw the girls go on and strike their pose, he dried his tears. He's like, I got this. And he wouldn't let anyone walk with him.
Then he ran at the little girl and tackled her.
No.
I got it!
But
No.
But it was
Not bad. I
it
didn't
was really good. I try to make the contest as inviting and easy as possible so they can get over that fear, and then who knows what he'll do in the next couple of years.
May I for a moment?
Oh yeah.
There are conventions out there that do incredible costume contests. San Diego Comic-Con, Dragon Con, to name 2. They're dazzling. They cost...
BlizzCon.
What's that?
BlizzCon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like the crazy shit people put together for BlizzCon.
That's
some
why
of-
Moonkin needs to go.
Some of these places, they charge money to enter the costume contest, but you get huge things out of it, and they are so detailed. They tug on seams, they check your background, how you made everything. Then there's
Usually they come with a portfolio of everything also.
Then there's a type where everybody gets to participate. Store-bought, homemade, thrown together, super intricate. All of them go on together and have a good time. It's for showing off your costume that you're proud of, as opposed to the technical side. This is the second type. Everybody gets to play. Everybody gets to feel good about themselves. And it's not that fucking participation trophy shit either. It's you did something. Go be proud of yourself.
Well, and it gives them, a stepping stone to start where you could see the greatest costumes, but they get on stage and they just stand there. But then you can see someone that put together a costume, they're not the best, but then they come out and they do the performance, like the Velma. She did the little performance and killed it. So,
Well, there's things we judge on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's so many aspects to it, and you got to start somewhere.
And I did not know that about the little boy. He was Captain America when you told me afterwards.
Yeah.
When he came out and he posed, he wiped his eye. He really had the Captain America pose.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter the age. When when they go on stage in front of an audience, there's something internal that they're facing. I still get nervous, but I enjoy it. I like the euphoria, But some people, it's quite an event just to get up there.
Oh, yeah.
And there are several times I would watch someone get off and, excuse me, leave the stage. Gotta be careful with this. And I would whisper, or one of the judges, we would say, someone's just crossed a threshold, to stand there. And then to speak in front of an audience can be quite terrifying.
Well, there's a couple of them, they made it their goal. They're going to conquer their fear. And this has been a stepping stone for them, which I think is great. There was one lady, I don't know if you remember, she put together a monarch butterfly costume. Uh-oh.
That sounded very calamitous.
Bad Harry.
Everybody okay over there?
The cat. It's Harold Housen cat.
Oh, just kidding.
He's just being a cat. Well, this lady, she put together this costume. It wasn't the best, but it was good, for her ability and all. And she came to me, and she didn't think she can go in there. She made it in honor or in memory of her daughter that died. That was 2 months old. And I'm like, yes. She didn't care if she won. She just wanted to go up there and show off this thing she made in memory of her daughter. And I think that's great. So, it's something for everybody.
They had Swamp Thing. I don't know something like, it's man, whatever the crap he was called. He was Swamp Thing. He was taller than me. He was taller than Kevin. He was on stilts. He looked like the swamp creature. It was incredible.
He is 9 feet tall in that costume.
He couldn't fit through the door.
It might seem somewhat redundant, but I can still walk. So I think that the last time we measured me in a set of gyroscopes, I came out a little over 11.5 foot.
Whew.
What?
With stilts.
There you go. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Okay.
That's my one comment for half an hour, because I've got nothing to contribute at all to MarsCon.
Well, actually, we're about to go this week in history. Did any of you guys do the research for it? Because that's not here. No.
I just found out he wasn't
Kevin
gonna
talk
be
for
here.
20 minutes.
Get us some history, Kevin.
Kevin will pull some shit up.
He'll make some shit up.
He's our Google guy. Does anybody need to take a quick break and refill their
You
drink?
make it sound like I know nothing, like everything at my fingertips is sourced from Google.
Well, you've been up for like 50 hours.
Well, yeah, I suppose actually, probably more than that.
I need another drink.
Well, I was just asking, does anybody need to go refill their drink or empty their drink
Oh, my.
receiver?
I'm alright.
Run!
Okay. Go grab that, Chris, and hurry back. I'm going to set up this
I
light.
poured clam tonight and made a cafetiere so I didn't have to get up so often.
Nice. Good choice.
We got a couple minutes. You're going to wait till he gets back?
Probably not.
Okay, never mind. Holy cow.
That's when you were holding Fred by his throat.
He loves it, honestly. People are like, how does that cat not rip your throat out? And I am the only person who can get away with it. But he generally, if you could hear him as well as I can in his head, when I'm doing that kind of stuff with him, he is purring his head off. He loves it. He enjoys the banter. You know? And frankly, I think it's my just desserts. It's my way of getting my own back messing around with him for all those times that he jumps onto my genitals when I'm not expecting him.
Genitals.
That threw me then. I thought Travis had given me a fanfare for my genitals.
That's what I thought.
Normally, yes. But we could just have Spagball
Give us some news.
do our This Week in History.
Oh, I don't want to. Hey, did somebody say Bob? How you doing?
Did you want to get your new friend?
I don't really have a voice for her yet.
Well, you won't unless you practice with her.
I will, but it's been... that's what I'm doing.
She's not ready. Don't force her.
I've got my remote control puppet here.
Let's have Fred do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh!
What do we
get him off? Look.
What are we
The
doing?
sudden responsibility shocked him.
She's gonna do the histories.
Okay, there's no pressure. I mean, I can.
The history of Spagball.
Spagball.
Chris is back. That was his job when he was co-host.
He's like, now I'm leaving.
Did you just leave?
He's got a ghost. Some shit just fell off his dresser.
It's them
I'll be
in the
2 seconds,
basement.
I've got to let Fred
Okay,
out.
yeah. I thought he had a cat flap.
He closed the flap.
Oh, man.
Pussy flaps.
Our
It's
cats have a flap. It jiggles when they run.
Come here.
Oh, we had to let him out of the room he's in. They have one to let him
I've got the
outside.
lounge door shut to keep the heat in.
Gotcha. You don't have a cat flap in every door in the house?
No, I haven't got that far yet.
I've thought about putting one on the office door so I can close the door when I'm recording stuff and still the cats can come. Hey, Chris is back. I wonder if he came back with history.
Yeah, he went off to get some, I think.
Or make some.
Oh.
I did come up with the idea to my wife one day. You know, like you get those hamster cages that are all these weird convoluted tubes so you can watch them travelling all the different routes and stuff. I said we should do the same thing in the house but with the snakes.
Snakes.
But she wasn't keen on the idea. So we had colour-coded ones so you knew which animal was in which tube.
Here's what we could do for This Week in History. Here's something nice and easy. So let me ask. We'll do an official poll here, or an unofficial poll. I don't know. There's a poll here.
Trying to keep you off the pole.
Hey, Otter, psst. Give me this. Pull that tail. There we go. And now I'll ask you guys, and I'd like the viewing audience to go ahead and type out their answers. So, does anybody else wash the bar of soap after they use it? So nobody has to pick up a bar of soap with like dirty bubbles on it or a stray hair? Or is that just me?
I do. Why was the soap dirty?
I do, but not for the same reasons. I don't wash it because I want to clean the soap for the next person. I wash it because otherwise it dries into a hard scum on your sink that sticks the soap bar to the sink.
Alright, I have cheated, and I now have This Week in History.
Is it from 5 years ago when you were co-host?
It is, in fact. I edited on May 1st, 2013,
Amazing.
Fantastic.
for the week of January 20th.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Okay.
But it does not go past 1895.
So it's still current. Alright.
I can pick it up off there. I can pick it up off of there.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. We can just take turns. Chris, and then Elizabeth, and Chris, and Elizabeth.
January 21st, 1880, the first U.S. sewage disposal system that was separate from storm drains was built in Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis? Really? By the way, John commented to my poll, He says, I rub the soap clean with my spag balls. They're brown, they're meaty, they're fun to play with for...
I use liquid body wash, so I do not have that problem with the soap.
I did have a follow-up question for the soap, and does anybody else notice how much soap at your local restaurant or whatever, the soft soap out of the dispenser, resembles jizz? Or is that just me?
It's because it is.
You stop putting it in there.
Ours at the theater is pink. So
Yeah. Well, you ever been
I can't speak for the ladies. I've never tried that one, although I do have to check in there at the end of the night. But the one at our workplace in the gents is purple. So if that's jizz, the guy who's creating our hand wash really needs to go and see a doctor.
Gallon is worth $78,000. Okay.
Alien jizz.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
You
to
know-
the point, if there's a market for selling your jizz to hand soap manufacturers, why have I not got their number?
I'll give it to you
I'll
later.
send you the link.
I can afford to fly to America next week.
I guess the jizz thing would be number 3. 1 and 2 is already taken for the bathroom.
Oh my.
You can
Elizabeth.
see it now, the Wank to the West Kickstarter project.
Oh. Elizabeth, what's your first
A
entry
wank
into...
starter. I beg your pardon. Ask that question again, please.
What's your first contribution to This Week in History?
Oh, Lord. Well, not jizz. All right. Okay. Actually, I have one. I like this one. Okay. In 1793, in This Week in History, Louis XVI of France Louis XVI of France is executed by guillotine after he was tried by the National Convention, found guilty of high treason. This was during the French Revolution, for Americans out there, which ran from 1789 to 1799 and resulted in the abolition and replacement of the French monarchy.
The French Revolution was 10 years long?
Mhm.
Wow.
Excuse me?
I said, wow.
That's a long
Let's say
time.
before that, the French Revolution was blank.
I said the French Revolution was 10 years long, and she said yes.
Yeah.
That's nothing. We had the 100 Years' War.
Yeah.
Well, you had to stop for fucking tea every little while. Hold on.
Every day at 11 and 4. Not a minute later.
Right, then you had to do the washing up afterwards. By that time, it's bedtime.
We don't do the washing up. We have servants do that kind of thing for us.
Well, yeah, while you relax and digest.
No,
Pretty
no,
British person, they're servants.
That's enough. That's enough.
It's so Elizabeth, you preface that point in history by going, I really like this one. In this year, this guy has had his head lopped off by the people. So what part of this would trigger that I really like this one?
What's your trigger?
Guillotines are fun, duh.
Guillotines are fun. It's immediate. It's public, and it fits the crime. Sometimes revolutions, is a part of history, and change happens, and we need to remember that. It's not just, oh, I'm offended, and that's it. Sometimes people are offended, and then they chop people's heads off. So it makes you appreciate moments of peace, and when we're getting along, and as long as we keep talking, generally things are better. When people's heads start rolling, the term for today, that's when things get ugly. And it's nice to have these reminders. It's nice to wake up. Not everything's a TV show.
So what's your
Sometimes things repeat.
what's your thoughts? Will the United States ever see another revolution?
I hope so. I hope we last long enough to see another one.
No, of our own.
I don't think you can avoid revolutions. I think revolutions are.
You think it'll be by us?
Well, that's what I mean.
I hope we make it.
Will there be
make it.
Do you think there'll be another American Revolution? So obviously, if there is one, you don't expect it anytime soon.
I don't think you ever do. I don't think anyone says in their lifetime, I bet there's going to be a revolution in my lifetime. Unless you're planning one.
I've said it.
No one expects the Inquisition.
I expect it in our lifetime.
It's not tomorrow, is it? It's my day off.
It happened in the UK in the 1980s with the poll tax riots. We're British, we don't riot. Okay, we have mild disapproval. We stand around and tutter things. Like, we do not take to armed revolt in the street. Well, we can't be armed anyway, most of us.
Not anymore.
But-
Not after that one.
If you don't know what it is, we've got the Google poll tax riots in the UK, but basically they introduced a new tax. The whole country went up in arms against it, and there was literally rioting in the streets for that.
Well, Kevin,
And if you'd said a couple of months before that legislation was introduced that would happen, most British people laughed in your face at the concept of British people rioting in the streets and marching on Parliament, but it happened.
well, British has had some. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you. I find it amusing when you say, well, we don't take to rioting in the streets. No, but you take to, cutting, chopping someone up and taking their body parts for quarters of the British Empire and sticking their heads on the wall. And I'll tell you, if I walked to a wall and I saw someone's severed, bleeding head hanging off it, I'd think, maybe not here.
I've got a real human skull in my pub.
There you go. Why is there no selfie?
Watch your inbox tomorrow. Actually, I'm off tomorrow. Watch your inbox Wednesday.
Yeah. Sorry, Travis. I cut you off.
Okay, no problem. Well, I was saying, the UK has had some really interesting tax. For example, when they had a window tax.
God, yeah.
What?
They had a tax for you were allowed 2 windows. Any windows in your house beyond the number of 2, even pre-existing windows before the law went into place, were now taxed. And people actually started going out and bricking up their fucking windows.
You see examples.
Just cut
of
it all and
over
make
the place
one.
In British architecture, in every town, in every city, if you walk around and look closely enough, you will see stone archways and things like that inlaid in are now solid wood, which is where a window used to be. And they left the frame of the window in place and they filled it with bricks to avoid paying the tax.
So let me ask you this, Kevin. Oh, go ahead. Did you
I
have
was
a
going to
question?
say, why didn't they just cut and connect them and just make one giant one?
Because there was a door
We're
between the
British,
two.
we can't stand the concept of anyone being able to see into our house the best of times through the tiny windows we have. The concept of an enormous window across the front of your house is about the least British thing you could ever.
So let me ask you, if there was ever could there ever be another British Revolution if you guys no longer have guns? How would you revolt?
The only way, in terms of an actual
Tea.
armed revolution, the only way that could ever happen in the UK would be if the issue causing the revolution was something that the army was divided on itself. Because there is no munitions, there is no armament.
That right there-
We don't have guns. So whoever guides the concept of our army is who is in control.
And that right there is one of the constant arguments when people go, we should have less guns in the U.S. or take all the guns away from the citizens. That is one of the first things a pro-gun person brings up, going, what if we need to have another revolution? How do we do it then?
It keeps going into bed.
I know. It has
Slingshots.
Slingshots, that's good.
Rubber bands. Flick rubber bands at each other.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Who needs
Rubber
guns?
So, Chris, what's your next point?
We're not worried about revolution in this country, though. We're too busy committing suicide.
Oh, well, there you go.
As you should.
As you should. What?
I'm trying to be supportive here.
No. Is that what that is?
Moving right along. January 23rd, 1897. Elva Zana Hester is found dead in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. The resulting murder trial of her husband is perhaps the only case in United States history where the alleged testimony of a ghost helped secure the conviction.
That's the only time that was done? I don't believe it.
I'd like to take a moment, if you don't mind. And, now the ghost was her husband, her dead husband? Is that correct?
No.
He killed her.
The ghost, I believe,
She killed him, or did he kill her?
he killed her.
Okay, so it would have been her ghost.
Was it the ghost of the goat?
I'm haunting. Yes, it was her ghost that appeared to her mother 4 weeks after the funeral.
Okay, here's what I'd like to do real quick. Kevin, I'd like you to be the judge. Chris, I'd like you to be the defending lawyer. Elizabeth, would you kindly be the ghost on the stand as the lawyer questions her?
Alright. Alright, let me get into character.
Don't put that sheet over your head.
And we'll start with
I'm the dead husband?
You're
Is
the
that it?
dead wife who's
Husband killed her.
who's talking was used on us. Kevin, as the judge, why don't you start?
Okay. I'm acting.
Okay.
Who starts? The judge
Well,
starts.
I was going to start with the judge, but he seems he started. Chris, why don't you start with questioning the ghost?
Let's see. Is it true that your husband flew into a fit of rage and attacked you and broke your neck after you had not cooked him meat for dinner?
It's true. It's all true.
There we go. I think we got it.
He poured himself a drink.
You're scaring the cat.
I see. So this is not the first time your husband has communed with spirits.
No.
Okay, very good, guys. Elizabeth, what's the next point of history we have?
Oh, step out.
That's right.
That was a good one, Cap. That was the one. So many to choose from. Okay. Here's one for Indonesia. In 1996, an Indonesia ferry sinks. An overloaded ferry and sinks in an unexpected storm off the coast of Sumatra.
That kind of ferry?
Killing 340 people.
This kind of ferry? It's an overloaded ferry. And then to kill people, you go like this. Death by ferry.
I remember that when that happened. It was just so sad. Well, there you go.
Was that 1892 and you remember that?
No, that was 1996 or 1994.
Oh.
It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they were all at the trial of the driver. Ooh, curry.
Do you need another one?
Oh, I guess
How
we
about
have
this?
no.
I love this one. In 2012, this week in history, Dutch teenager sails around the world. 16-year-old Laura Decker became the youngest solo sailor to complete the voyage around the world. Decker began her journey on January 20th of 2011 and completed the trip when she reached St. Martin in the Caribbean.
Now, related
I remember that.
to that, there was a young lady who also attempted it, who was going for the world record to do it faster or younger, I forget which, and her brother had done it before. And she hit stormy waters, and her boat capsized, and she was rescued by a passing fisherman. And
Sold into slavery.
2 weeks ago, they found her boat. 8 years after it capsized, and it was still intact. And
She made the boat, or?
no, but she had painted it. It was called like Wild Eyes or something, and she had painted big eyes on it.
I'd be impressed if it was made out of duct tape or whatever.
Well, some people, really criticized her parents for letting her do this, and her parents' thing was, she's great on the ocean. She knows what she's doing. And when people pointed at this accident and go, see, that's what happened, the young girl said, yeah, I'm sure it's my age that whipped up a storm and caused that damage.
That's
And
great.
Actually,
It was Travis. It was called Wild Eyes, the boat, and her name was Abby Sunderland, and it was found mired in a reef off of Australia.
Oh.
And how long ago did they find it? It was just a few weeks ago, right?
I'm looking. I'm just trying to find the date now.
And if you see the date that she attempted,
it says it was found a couple of weeks ago in the article, and the article was from the 3rd of January, so early December or something.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to say it was
If
about...
I can, I just wanted to correct you on your misquote there, Travis. According to this article, when that was said to the parents about how could you let your child still in 7 the parents insisted and responded, "Don't tell us what to do."
Shut up or your fucking mother sleeps alone tonight, you goddamn whore. Said her parents. We'll fill the time till Kevin finds the facts.
Apparently, the article I'm reading, Travis, it says that the family are looking into the possibility of. Apparently, it's been discovered, but it's submerged, but in shallow water, and they're looking for permission to visit Australia and dive to it because there's a chance that somewhere on board is a waterproof type case containing film footage that she took on.
Oh,
That's cool.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
That would be a good dive too. I mean, she's made a few comments about, how many memories, good and otherwise, it brings back. It's a mixed bag of memories. And
how many kids can say they've done it?
yeah, and she was, I want to say, 16 at the time, and I want to say it was about 8 years ago, if I remember correctly. But that's very cool. Chris, what do you got for the next point in history?
January 24th, 1899, the rubber sole was patented by Humphrey O'Sullivan.
I like the name Humphrey because it sounds like lame sex. It's like what you do to somebody's leg on the subway.
You hump it free?
Humphrey, free as my wand blows.
Oh, that's probably a
January
porn.
25th, 1881, Thomas Edison and Alexander Bell formed the Oriental Telephone Company.
Why's it gotta be Oriental?
Because
I'm offended.
answering Oriental is offensive. I'm still upset about Asian because that doesn't really include the Russians. Are you Asian? Oh yes, I'm Russian. So what year did they do it?
1881.
1881.
Last year.
Telephone company. So we have had... Now, was that the first telephone company? Does that say?
It doesn't say, but I would imagine that it is. Because I think... Or maybe... It might be the second, because I think Bell tried to do it first, and it, failed. And he was like, hey, this Thomas Edison guy knows a thing or two about...
marketing and stealing people's ideas.
I mean, that too.
Knows a little bit about owning everything.
Well, you know.
So we have had telephones for, I guess, pretty much
All my
140 years now. Over 140 years. That's really fucking incredible.
And lastly, I have in 1880, Thomas Edison patented the first electric incandescent lamp.
Whose design?
Or for your non-theater people, light bulb.
Do you have another one, Elizabeth?
Do I? Come on. All right. In 1977, a pardon for Vietnam draft dodgers. President Carter granted a complete and unconditional pardon today, the 21st, to all Vietnam draft dodgers.
So, how many presidents have we had people said were Vietnam draft dodgers? It's been a couple of them, right?
I don't know about presidents. I know senators.
All of them. Except 3. They're dead.
I got another one. I think everyone needs to have a drink in hand when I read this. Here we go. In 2013, it's not so bad. Atari files for bankruptcy. Protection! Hey! The U.S. branch of Atari Corporation filed for bankruptcy protection while trying to separate from its French parent company, Atari SA, that had been making a loss. Atari was hoping to secure independent money to continue digital gaming.
Atari was French?
Apparently, in the French version.
Do you want to play with my Atari? It is very fun.
The final boss in every game is just a giant white flag that no one could get past.
You play with my joystick and I will press your shiny red button.
Ooh la la.
Birthdays. Should we do birthdays?
Let's do birthdays.
This is my favorite birthday for this year. It is born on this day, January 21st, Benny Hill.
No.
Yes.
God bless you, Benny Hill. God bless you.
Yeah.
He wrote all those shows. He wrote those shows, man.
See, and now we're going to get Kevin a little bit to talk about his fellow countrymen. Did you know Benny Hill before he passed? Or after?
Certainly, yeah. All British people know all other British people.
Do you know his ghost? Can you bring him on the show?
You should say that. You'll never guess who's with us tonight.
Wow, I can see the eerie ghostly glow over your right shoulder.
Indeed.
There's an incandescent lamp.
My balding head.
That's right.
I
Lamp?
meant that
What's
one.
that? Oh, you mean a light bulb. It's
my wife is asleep upstairs. This is her inner radiance coming through the ceiling.
Oh. And
Just in case she ever watches.
her radiance is all over your head.
He was born Alfred Hawthorne Hill in 1924 in Southampton, England.
Just across the water from me.
Everything's
You can
just
see
across the water
Southampton.
from
On a clear day, you can see Southampton.
When did he enter show business, as it were? Because it sounds like he might have done some vaudeville or traveling stuff.
He was pretty young. I think that the early part of his career was formed in working men's clubs.
In what?
Working men's clubs. So you would have found those in the UK anyway. After the First World War until about the late 70s, early 80s when they began to slowly die out. Normally found in poor communities. They were like community pubs that were frequented by the working classes. Hence, working men's clubs, quite often linked to a specific trade in a town, particularly in the north. So places like Sheffield, it would have been steel working.
Right.
In Welsh towns, it might have been coal mining. But you tend to find a lot of the workers who worked in big industrial complexes all drank in the same place. They were called working men's clubs. And they would quite often have bands, comedians, some kind of entertainment. So a lot of British comedians who ended up on TV in their 30s and 40s had cut their teeth on the working men's club circuits.
Interesting. I know what a working girls club is. That's a strip bar. Yeah, but working men's, I didn't know about those.
I didn't know about the working girls.
There's a song about it in some musical.
I bet there is.
You guys
Are
are you familiar with the song Lady in Red by Christopher?
I may have heard it once.
That one, yeah. He also had a song that almost made it into the top 40. It reached number 41. It was called Patricia the Stripper. And it's a story about the town's favourite stripper and how she's always getting away with murder because all of her clients are like the judge and the police. Yeah, it almost made the British charts.
That's great. Now, how does that relate to Lady in Red?
Everyone knows Christopher from that song. So if you're going to go, do you know Christopher? If you mention Lady in Red, people realise it by that than by his name.
Gotcha. Okay.
Plus, I'm always mindful of the fact that I'm talking largely to an American audience who may not necessarily get it. I don't know what culture has and hasn't made it across the channel.
Right. We do the same thing when speaking to an American audience. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Is that totally serious?
Well, I mean, America's a big place, so something you've heard of doesn't necessarily follow someone on the other side of
Right.
the country has. Over here, I can use a catapult to hit someone on the far side of the country. So.
Or a trebuchet, as Gary was saying earlier.
Indeed, or a trebuchet, yeah.
It's
Or a mangonel and stuff.
It's also one of those things, pop culture, as communication has changed and improved and expanded, pop culture is now passing exponentially quicker. So, you know, where all these kids know everything from the past 4 years, by kids I mean early 20s or younger, you know, when you're making references from the 80s, which is only, 30 years ago,
That's a classic now.
we might have, well, when in the 80s when we were in our teens, we might have known stuff in the 50s, which was only 30 years ago, not so long ago, but 30 years now is a lot longer because there has been a ton more popular culture, movies, books, TV in the last 30 years than the
Exposure
previous.
to it's grown exponentially
Right.
as well. It's not just the volume of stuff that's out there, but
With
your
the
ability
internet.
to tap in and access it as well.
The
Absolutely.
internet and smartphones. Yeah, the kids are exposed to way more now.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch a movie on the bus now, or
Uh-huh.
you can stream live TV through your phone wherever you are. You know,
You
you've
don't have
got
to wait for
access to
reruns.
media anywhere you want it, pretty much.
I heard, in speaking of, streaming media, Netflix, Daredevil, and the other Marvel series have all been canceled because of Disney, who is opening up their streaming service. Now, I'm hoping that means Disney is going to take that exact same crew, director, actors, writers, and go, we're continuing the series over here.
Oh, that's
I
just
know,
more money. I'm
Elizabeth,
like,
it
wow.
could happen. And hello, Win, how are you?
Sorry.
What's that, Chris?
Hey, hello.
Chris, what'd you just say?
I doubt it.
I doubt it. Yeah, to wrap myself
Unless Disney are also going to employ all of those people who work for Netflix making that stuff and suddenly make them Disney employees. I can't see it happen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You get a lot more freedom with being on Netflix.
Okay, by the way,
Because,
I hadn't heard about the...
nudity and cussing and all of that.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's Netflix and it's the parents' job to monitor that. It's not on the kids,
Disney.
Netflix, because there is a kid subset of Netflix. Whereas you're going to a Disney thing and they're going to then, separate that? Be Disney adult?
well,
I don't think so.
it's going to be Disney.
They touched him.
It's going to be Disney streaming. You pick and choose. So yes, but anyhow, I do have articles up here from December talking about following the cancellation of Netflix Marvel shows. Many fans have been wondering if they'll be revived by Disney's new streaming service. So the question was put to Kevin Mayer, the studio's top deal maker, in an interview on The Hollywood Reporter, and he said, they are very high quality shows. We haven't discussed that yet, but I would say that's a possibility. So, and it would be a moneymaker. It would be a drawing point for people. And as for Netflix, didn't necessarily make these shows. Netflix paid the money for a show that was made. Maybe not in this. They may have made this show, but a lot of the stuff we're seeing as a Netflix original means they bought it. It doesn't mean they made it. It's
That's fair.
and I'm looking at a second article, see if it says anything
Well, and I
different.
noticed with the Netflix originals, Netflix is mentioned somewhere at some point in those things.
I did hear a rumor the other day as well that because they've just released, I don't know if it's already been out over there or not, but the second series of Punisher is out, and literally within 2 days of it being out, I was hearing rumors that that series done. They're not making a third series of that.
Oh.
Thank you for the cheer there, Elizabeth.
I
Thank
heard
you.
a scream. Was it Bob? Is Bob
I
I
think
think
here?
that was what made me chuckle a minute ago, was that when it told Elizabeth that her bits were huge and awe-inspiring.
Real quick here, a statement this morning. This is from a November 30th article on Deadline.com. Statement this morning from the home of the Avengers and Spider-Man used similar language to what the streamer signed off with to indicate that the Hell's Kitchen blind protector isn't done yet on the small or even big screen. Quote, "We look forward to more adventures with the Man Without Fear in the future," the Disney-owned comic giant said Friday. So the bottom line is, Yeah, well, they're probably going to finish up whatever season they're producing now, and that hits Netflix. But
if they're smart, they'll keep it going because
Makes
people
money.
are interested in it, and
Yeah.
that'll get people on the streaming service because they want to see what's happening with those shows.
I don't want to pay for goddamn streaming services. Pussy, pussy,
Whoa!
pussy, pussy. It's
It's all down to money.
it
What
does.
they're willing to budget, how much they can spend, are they willing to put up with this? They're doing it, take it, is it going to fit in the schedule?
Well, if they're taking all these shows away from Netflix, we need to start filming ours so they can buy it.
Here.
We are filming it right now.
We're
Netflix.
filming this.
I didn't know we had cameras.
I'd be up for doing like a British version of the Runway show.
Well,
I've got plenty of skull t-shirts and there's lots of people who are causing graphic violence to. All I need is a camera.
Kevin, some of my viewers have compared Talk of the Tavern to an American Graham Norton show.
That's
And
good,
I'm like,
right?
that's a great comparison. That's wonderful. It's, now, if only we can get the guests he has on our show and we'd be there.
Yeah.
I think we need to now start that sequence where you get a random person to sit in the chair that we can then flip over if we don't like their story.
No.
There's a British comedian called Russell Howard, and he used to have a similar thing on one of his TV shows, where during the filming of the episode, right at the beginning, they would grab some random people off the street who were interested, who didn't have tickets, and put them on a podium in front of the audience, ask them to do like 30 seconds, who are you, what do you do, entertain us, whatever. And after 30 seconds, the audience had buzzers to vote yes or no as to whether they were allowed to stay and watch the show, or they got thrown back out on the street again. And my favourite one ever was there were two girls who came in as a pair, and he said, "Okay, you've got 30 seconds. Tell us something interesting about yourself." And the girl said, "Hi, both from London, and we make cakes for a living. We have a small cake shop, a little independent business that's been running 6 months that we set up together. And inspired by the internet, our shop is called Two Girls, One Cupcake."
Did they get to stay for the show?
They were about 10 seconds in after she'd finished this, and the entire audience just went, "Buzz, you're in, stay, watch the show, that's amazing."
That's great.
We may get Ed here any minute now.
Yeah?
Yeah, hey, the big man.
It's possible. I mean, I haven't seen him comment yet, and he's not on the list. I'm not saying he's going to, but it can happen. He does like to pop in. We'll get him all sleepy. His hair will be all messed up.
Put your pants on.
Oh, no, we don't tell Ed that.
With his hair messed up, you know.
I like that. I like that, people having to say, let me on and the audience gets to vote. And
That's great.
it's funny.
See, and then Wynn says, I thought the two girls in Kevin's story would just have started making out to stay on the show.
Anybody could do that.
That's where I thought it was going, but it was so much better.
Definitely more clever. It's not as easy to come up.
Sometimes you want to watch two girls making out, you just click on Babe Station.
What is it?
Babe Station. I'm sure you have a similar thing in the US. It is a satellite channel, which is essentially girls scantily dressed in a very minimal amount of underwear, stroking themselves suggestively, whilst you can phone in and talk to the girl in the studio. Although in this country they're often British girls, so Babe Station should frankly be sued under the drug description.
Why do they look like Chris? Stroking himself suggestively.
You've seen my work.
It's,
Hey, $20, $20.
Yeah.
That's right.
So how many people are still here?
We had 15 a moment ago, but we got rid of 4 of them with that joke.
Well, we're laying them down slowly. There was 200 when we stopped.
All right, hang on. We got another birthday.
Oh, got another
One more
birthday.
birthday.
Okay, one more birthday.
Hey, you know that. Telly Savalas, born on this day in New York in 1922.
What did he do besides Kojak?
Probably a bunch of women.
As soon as you asked me that, my eyes scanned to the end of the sentence where it said, and the endless sucking of lollipops.
Well, there you go.
Hey, baby, want a lollipop?
How you doing?
He was in The Birdman of Alcatraz, Kelly's Heroes, Battle of the Bulge, The Dirty Dozen, and the Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So they're his big claim to fame.
Now, John just typed wimps. So, I'm not...
Oh, the people that left because of that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, because
You're
I
welcome.
moved on.
I pay attention.
Now you go do good job. You were this perfect in this phone.
What the fuck? He did some commercials, Toey said.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Hey, you're my number 1 share there, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
Right there. Look at the top of the chat list. I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but
Yeah, whoop whoop.
you're the number 1 share. It's
The
I only have
hockey
2
teams
bits. It won't let me
from,
watch videos.
wants
So.
me to come play on Mondays,
what?
and I denied them.
Who wanted you to complain?
No stairway to no.
Denied. Finish that. I'll come out on Thursdays. I'm not doing Mondays. Mondays is Talk to Tavern.
You just reminded me of something. I can't remember if I've already told you about this or not. Did I tell you about that? It was all over the internet for a while. It was on Reddit originally in a conversation stream about the guy hearing shouting Mortal Kombat comments in the hotel.
No.
Is that not ringing a bell? Okay, I'll make this as brief as I can. Basically, it was, I think the thread on Reddit was something like embarrassing things you've seen other people do in hotels or something like that. Basically, this guy came on with the story where he said, my girlfriend and I could loudly hear through the wall in the room next to us, the couple next door making love. And they literally got to the point where we could hear the frequency building up, and we realised the guy was on the verge. And suddenly, loudly, this guy shouted through the wall at the couple who were having sex to the other side in his best Mortal Kombat voice. Finish her! That was it. There's silence afterwards for a while. Then next door, they hear the shaking of the bed start up, and literally the guy the other side of the wall shouted back through at him, "Round 2, fight!"
Nice.
That's great. It's,
It has begun. I think at MarsCon,
I think
I was dressed like Pickle Rick. We kept yelling, "Show me what you got!"
real quick, Toby, thank you so much. Appreciate that. We love to see your bits.
Hey, oh, thank you, Tim.
You know, going back to MarsCon, Elizabeth, I'd love to talk about the shows that we did. It's because Friday night, Elizabeth joined us for all the shows.
Yes, she did.
It's opening with this one. On Friday night, we did a cigar smoke out, where basically by the way, did you notice they did not include myself or Talk of the Tavern in the list of guests, even though we did 4 shows?
Oh, that sucks. What the hell? They didn't even have my badge. Like, I wasn't listed anywhere. And it was just because I knew people that it got taken care of. Like, I was nobody. I didn't have a bag or anything.
Right.
Nothing.
Oh, wait, people get bags?
Wish I'd have known. I'd have sent the boys round.
You were supposed to get a bag.
People get bags?
No. I think, I don't know, some 1 year or a folder or whatever.
I got a folder with my schedule
I
to tell
gave
me
you
where
a
to be.
bag.
You did.
Yes, you did. But they didn't even know who I was. They're like, I mean,
I know who
my
you
friends
were.
knew me, Addie knew me, but I wasn't listed anywhere.
You should have been.
And you had been communicated with ahead of time? They knew you
And I
were...
had what?
They talked to you before you showed up? Like they, in theory, knew you were arriving?
I never announced myself or did anything. I assumed
Talk
that
at the Tavern.
I went on the schedule and I saw my name with Talk to Tavern, so I figured I was signed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's, yeah.
Well, that would explain that.
Well, like I said, Talk of the Tavern isn't even in there as a guest, so... they have us on the schedule. But anyhow, Friday night we did a... What's that?
We don't need to be famous. We're infamous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
somebody came up. I was told I'm famous. I'm like, I am? Like, yeah, Talk at the Tavern. Okay, and I got to cut in line to get my coffee.
The perks
yeah.
of fame.
I'll come on you during MarsCon, and while you guys are at the convention, I'll refuse to come and boycott it. We'll do a live show where I stream from a cafe over the road.
That works.
Here I am, there's MarsCon in the background.
So anyhow, Friday night we did a cigar smokeout, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot of people, but we were outside by the pool in freezing temperatures, and we had about 7 of us total out there with cigars having
And
a
it
good
was
time.
live.
It was
Fun.
met a few great guys, including a regular listener on YouTube named Rick, who I stopped putting my cards on tables at conventions, figuring it never brought anybody in, never made a sale for my books, etc. Rick, when I asked him how he found the show, he's like, "Oh, I picked up your card last year on one of the tables."
I'm like,
And I'm
oh.
like, "Oh, well, good to know." So, hello to Rick when he finally does watch this later this week. It's
Hi, Rick.
and thank you for 1,000 hours of
Hey,
YouTube
Rick.
watching.
Good to hear about you, man. Let me know if you need cards.
There we go. He's got a couple.
1,000 hours of watching.
He was about halfway there when I put him onto a private list on YouTube so they'd only show on the website. And now I have unprivatized that list so they show up. Because some people were complaining, oh, all I see is Talk of the Tavern stuff. It was, Gary. It was a good time, and I didn't really notice it cold. But after one cigar, everybody else was like, nope, done, see ya. Which I can't blame them because it was freezing temperatures. Saturday, though, we had Michael Thompson pop in and we had 2 shows back to back, 2-hour shows. So for all these people that come in and do a 45-minute show, in your face. It's so we did 4 hours.
As you like it.
That's right.
It was the first one was tea and story time. Family friendly, because there were some kids in there. And then
As poor children. I'll never be the same again.
We did warn them when okay, this part's almost done. You may want to leave or get an education your parents don't realize you will get.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had Michael Thompson, who we've had on the show before, and he wrote World of the Orb, and his latest book he brought it in and did what I frankly felt was a really awesome reading of 2 of his stories or chapters in that
he did
book.
character voices and everything.
Yeah. He was very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a good future.
I hope so. Him and Tempe. I hope so. Well,
He's
everybody.
a cool guy.
See, we need to get her on for a reading.
We do. I did tell her.
She doesn't want to be on camera? Okay.
I did tell her to find the best 12 to 20 minutes of the book, bookmark it, and then go do public readings. Ah, there you go. Zach says that reading was wonderful. It really was. Zach, good to see you.
That was one of the best readings I've ever been to. I mean,
Same
he
here.
really did the voices, and it was fun to read. It was fun to
Yeah,
listen
he
to.
needs to come on here and do that again, because that was...
But do chapter 3 and 4 so I can get further in the book.
Well,
Just bring him
soon
on
he's going to be doing audiobooks. He'll be reading them, and I'm very excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the character voices...
Then we had another author sit in and read one of her, a chapter of the first chapter of her book. And then after that, we went to the adult portion of it, which was a wonderfully random, all over the place.
Oh my
Because when we do this, and it is random, and I pull people up from the audience and interview them, kind of like, too bad we don't have 30 seconds and a buzzer to see if they need to stay. That's a good idea.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it had been a very long day for me and Elizabeth. Because of the contest and the judging and the things, and then we rushed over there after that, so I don't remember half of it. I was so tired.
That was the other thing, Chris. When I showed up at that room, there's 6 huge round tables that you can sit about 8 to 10 chairs around. All the chairs were pushed to one end of the room. The tables were kind of haphazardly around the room with white tablecloths that are stained with crumbs all over them. There's a plastic box of stuff from the last thing that ended about 4 hours before. And, oh, here we go. Toei has a question. Let's pass this over to Andrea. What was the best costume at the con?
At the con, me. But
actually, real quick, Andrea had a few new dresses, and she got a ton of people coming up and commenting on them in a positive way.
Not adorable. Fucking adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. I like so many of the costumes for different reasons. Of course, the Moonkin, my favorite. So, I don't know.
Elizabeth, what was your favorite?
Swamp Thing. I had a reaction. Because we didn't know we did a prejudging, and I came around the corner and I locked eyes with this thing, and he was 7-8 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
He was enormous and wide, and it was just those glowing red eyes. And for a moment, I was 5 again, reading that comic book, and not being able to read every big word, but just face to face with something that was bigger than me. Well, not face to face.
It made you feel small.
It made me feel small. It made me feel a kid again, and wonder and awe. And I was a little weepy for a moment. Like, I just so happy. It's my favorite.
Yeah,
and
me.
There were snakes. There were snakes on him, Kev. He had snakes on him, and all this different texture, and he just like the swamp had come alive. Different types of plants, different types of wood.
Rewind, fill me in. What had snakes on it?
Swamp Thing. And
okay.
Dressed up like
Kevin wasn't
Thing,
here.
or the swamp teacher, whatever they call him, is incredible. Incredible.
At the convention.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And John says his 64 Pontiac taillight eyes.
Yeah.
And Tempe also compliments your blue dress, saying it was awesome. And before that, Toei asks, and what was the best of the themed bar drinks? Toei, remember when you were there with me 3 or 4 years ago? Same fucking names for the drinks. They haven't changed any of the food names or any of the drink names since you were last there. So, there we go. Still Admiral Snack Bar, and they're clever, they're fun names, but yeah, we've seen them many, many times. I guess there's no new geek references that they can use. We haven't had any.
A really good beer on tap. It was from a Virginia lager company, and it was a German lager. And it was really good. And they only had 1 sixtel, and when it ran out, they replaced it with Michelob Ultra.
Oh.
If they've got themed bar drinks, I hope to Christ you can get a Qui-Gon gin. If not, someone's really missed out there.
It would actually be a Qui-Gon gin and tonic or something like that.
If you guys want to see I don't know about Facebook because I'm not on Facebook. If you go to Instagram and hashtag 2019, MarsCon 2019, you could get the pictures, or I believe it's MarsCon Official is their Instagram account. You could see all of those costumes and things that went on at
And by the way, all the people attending the con was hashtag MarsCon 2019, except for MarsCon Official, which decided to do hashtag MarsCon 2K19.
Well, go to hashtag or pound me MarsCon 2019.
Oh, Toei. Wynn says, I was drinking Russian stout Saturday, so I missed your show that night. I'm curious about that. It's, Huh. Anyhow.
I have
And
to
it-
interrupt for 1 second.
Yes.
A friend of mine who now lives in Orlando just sent me a text with a picture of the evening news that said, dress in layers, limit outdoors, high temperature, 53 degrees. They are having a cold snap right now.
Not even.
That's great. That's great. By the way, our schools here do have a 2-hour delay in the morning because, you know, it's going to be like in the single digits, I think.
Right.
It's, let me also drop some. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that subscription. And how the hell are you? I mean, I've seen you pop in and out. Haven't seen much of you on World of Warcraft. Hope everything's okay. That's really the bottom line. Yeah, I know, 53 degrees. What did you invite me to there, Chris? You invited me to... Oh, gotcha. Okay, I'll look at that later, buddy.
And I do plan to play.
That was for later.
Yeah.
It was up while I was in my thing, and it was like, oh, this is relevant to later.
What, Andrew?
I plan to play tonight
Oh,
because it's been a bit, and I don't work tomorrow.
that's right.
Lucky you.
Hey, Chris, I did want to suggest that maybe... Now, just for all our viewers, Chris and I aren't dating or anything. Don't get confused here.
Whatever.
We could make like level 20 somethings and just level them together and only play those together so we always stay the same level.
They're dating.
No, we always try and do something similar, and it never works that way.
Well, that's because
But yes.
we don't strictly agree. We're only leveling these guys when we're hanging out.
Just
But if we-
agree on it now.
Yeah, if we take one character and go, I'm not playing this except when I'm with that other character.
Alright, I'm down.
So we could talk about that after the show. I'm sure these guys don't want to see us hash out our
We
list
can
of
do this on
characters.
the other channel.
And if we want, we could do it with Andrea also, but we would need a separate
We're
set
not
for
all
you and
dating,
this.
guys.
No, we're glad to hear everything's okay. It's that's all that's important. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you doing that. Okay, so what do we got? We got 4 minutes before the third hour. Me too.
4 minutes left this week in History Hour.
Yeah. Does anybody need to get a refill or hit the head?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
wrong head.
Yeah, I'll grab a coffee actually.
Do you want to make coffee or anything?
I'm gonna wait till after.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to get up.
Okay. Chris, did you need to get up or you good?
No, I'm good. This time.
So while we're doing these last couple minutes, waiting for them to come back, Sunday we have now something we've been suggesting for a few years is a tea etiquette because they had a tea party and Andrea's like, let's do a tea etiquette, and they've always told her, well, you can only do it Sunday. You can't do it.
They didn't have time on Friday before, so.
John, be safe. Have a safe drive home, and we'll talk to you, well, next time you pop in. Don't forget I'm streaming on my other channel all week long.
Bye, John.
But this year, they did have a tea etiquette on Friday. They decided to put that in. But we had already set up what was supposed to be a tea etiquette at the time they allowed, which was not Friday, but Sunday. So we changed it to a tea social.
We talked about etiquette, but
Yeah.
I-
It was mentioned.
yeah, I mean, I like it on Sunday because it's when everything's done. It's a good time to just sit, relax, have tea, chit-chat about the weekend, and talk to, people there, so.
Without us being the center of attention. Instead, they're kind of the center of attention as we serve them tea and bring them cookies and stuff like that, and let's a group get together and socialize.
It's fun.
And that went well. We had, 15, 20 people?
Yeah.
Something else I found. Do you know who Paulo Garbanzo is and Madame Onsa? This is cool.
You might know him if you see him because, I know the circles you run in.
He was talking to me about his next project and possibly including me in it. He is setting up, in about 18 months, he is going to set up a tour, I want to say to Manchester, England, and have a couple other places they go to.
I have a
But
flyer in there.
they'll actually be staying in a real castle with a real lord with D&D. So you'll have 8-hour blocks of D&D broken up into 2 4-hour blocks. But, so in the morning, you get up and you go tour the catacombs or the graveyard or this church, and then you come back and the D&D game relates to that place. Not exactly that place, And you get real feasts. There you go. Wynn says you have to get into his project if you can. That would be rad. Now, he doesn't have a price yet, but he's looking at putting pricing package, because basically he's like, Travis, what you do, you get 5 or 6 people to come along. But they have to, they're paying for their way. It's a tour
Kevin
package
can go. He's down the street from it.
that they put together, and he's guessing it's a strictly an estimate, not a real price, probably about $2,600 per person. But that's airfare, that's meals, that's hotel,
How long
that's
is
the
it?
tours, 10 days.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Where can I go?
Manchester.
Yeah, I can reach Manchester. What's happening in Manchester?
Oh, yeah, he was up. Sorry.
it's
He's down.
basically, to briefly go over what we were talking about, is one of the guys at the convention was talking to me about his next project, which is basically fly to the UK, do a tour of a church, come back to the castle that his friend owns, and do an 8-hour block of D&D, broken up in the middle for food. But the game would then relate to the place you had just been. So the catacombs, or the church, or this small town over here. And it would be a 10-day thing. And
Cool.
so I told him, look, first of all, keep me in the loop no matter what, and I will support you however I can on the show, etc.
Yeah, they've been on the show before.
And I'm like, second of all, are you tapping me to come along and enjoy it, or are you tapping me as a game master? And he's like, oh, well, I don't know. I've never seen you run a game. I'm like, it's all online. We've run games online before. So, yeah. I might be doing that.
Intriguing idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is intriguing.
It'd be the middle of 2020. Now, because of Brexit, he can't get a price yet for travel, because what will the British pound be worth, depending which way things go.
Yeah, by 2020, you'll probably be able to get it much cheaper than now, based on the rate that pound's been falling horrendously against the dollar for the last 10 years.
And so, well, you had outpaced us.
10 years ago, one British pound was worth $2. Now it's worth about $1.20.
Well, then again, our credit rating is about to crumble because of the government shutdown. We might be losing our AAA credit rating because, well, basically our government isn't functioning.
You might get a shot in the arm because imminently, as soon as Brexit happens, you'll own England.
Oh, does that mean you'll be our slave, Kevin?
Yeah. In an ironic twist of fate, Britain is about to become USA's bitch.
Yeah, some would say that's been happening for 30, 40 years.
The special relationship.
Speaking of gaming, the latest Grimtooth project I wrote in 2017 is finally coming out in March. Awesome!
Yay, Toey!
Way to go! Which, if you guys are gamers at all, Grimtooth books are awesome and worth a read, even if you're not a gamer, because they're just fun and clever and full of traps that kill your players instantly. Maybe not instantly, but pretty quickly. So
Awesome!
my husband just had to go back to work because the State Department called everyone back. So is it over, Toey? Did I miss it?
I mean, it's not over officially, but
They probably just had to be like, yeah.
Can we have one of those potted, educate the ignorant Brit modes?
1 second. Let's play intro music to the third hour, then absolutely.
Do that.
Time for the roll call for our late night, inappropriate, slightly intoxicated, and very naughty music hour. This is where the faint of heart swoon, parents put children to bed, and things heat up and get steamy. So pour another drink and strap yourself in. It's got a bumpy ride.
Okay. So, Wynn says no. State found magic money somewhere. Okay, Kevin, what can we educate you on? And then Elizabeth will.
In the briefest possible way,
What are we talking about?
what the fuck is it with this government shutdown thing?
It's
What
shut
is it?
down.
Why does it happen?
Why?
Tough deal, rough dealing. The Democrats don't want to give the president a wall because that'll give him a win. And
That's a very slanted way to put it, isn't it?
And he's trying to get the bill passed and won't give up on the
There's
wall.
a disagreement about it's the budget they're arguing over and where that money is coming from.
Right.
This is the
Yeah,
annual
it's
budget.
essentially like
In the annual
we have
budget,
to agree on the budget, and because no one will agree, the government can't continue to pay its employees because the budget won't pass for the next fiscal year, essentially. So
Right, okay.
government
and the big
down-
stumbling block is a disagreement about $5 billion, almost $6 billion for the wall.
Yeah.
for a wall along our southern border. Yeah.
Right.
But the people making the decisions that keep other people from getting paid, as in senators and congressmen, they're still getting paid.
So is the president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All the government, the people that, they're all still getting their money and everything.
he doesn't take pay. He donates his pay to other areas in the government. He doesn't take pay. So there's that.
The reason I ask is because it's a weird thing for British people who try and wrap their heads around. Not just the reason why it happened, but the fact that when you have disagreement in politics, and okay, I get it, it's about money and stuff, but the fact that your bureaucracy just stops, it literally shuts down until they make their minds up. In Britain, nothing stops. Bureaucracy will never end in Britain. We love red tape. It doesn't matter how badly our government disagreeing with each other, the vote just won't go through, the legislation just won't pass until they get their shit together. But all of the other things the government do, all the departments that the public rely on will run regardless of what's happening in our parliament. So to us, the concept of we can't agree, so everything these people rely on and all of their income and their wages, we're just going to stop until we make our mind up, that blows our heads.
And there is a vote that has still yet to pass to see if all of those employees who stop getting paid will get their appropriated back pay or not.
Right, so there's
still
a chance that these people might not get the money for the period where they've not been allowed to work.
They'll get it. They'll get it. They always
You were
have.
asking earlier what in Britain might cause a riot.
Now, let me
Shit over here, and you would see a riot.
read.
With that snow that we had earlier I guess it was last week, at this point, there was a portion of the district that did not get snow removal service because it was under the federal government, and those employees are not the emergency mandatory government employees that must report. So yeah, there was a whole big thing where people didn't get snow removal yesterday.
I have comments I'd like to read from the viewers. It's all win. It's all win, so I don't have to necessarily break it up.
Terry,
Can I pick one of those comments out, because I've just been looking through them.
Can
now,
we
the
read
one
them
that hit me.
first and then pick it out?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Wynn says, I think the state got to have its people come back to work because the diplomats and their staff make boring hostages, not like rank and file workers that can be used to create sympathy. She does mention also the president doesn't take his pay. She says, and the $5.7 billion is like 0.001% of the budget overall, so it's really not about the wall or the money or anything, it's just tribal warfare. And I will comment on that in a moment. And she says, my husband actually got paid the whole time too because he's a contractor with a great company. And as for the tribal warfare, yeah, it is tribal warfare on both sides.
See, it was that comment I was going to pick out
Go
as
ahead.
well, and the reason for that is when you said to me, when you were talking and explaining it first off, and you said it was $5 billion, the first thing my brain said was $5 billion. This is America we're talking about. If you were talking about £5 billion, I could understand people kicking off about it. But with no disrespect to you guys, what the fuck? Your entire government shuts down over something that is essentially changed the bureaucracy your size.
It's not the entire government.
Right.
It's not the entire government. It's just basically, a budget has been passed, and part of that budget's been passed through until the mid-February, where everything's paid. It's political point. It's a political. It's not right. We want the government working together, and this, like Travis asked me earlier, what would cause a revolution? Shit like this starts causing a revolution. You know, people stop trusting the government. You know, if I don't show up to work, I don't get paid. I can't just show up and not do my job because I don't like someone. Do your damn job.
Well, like, so one of my friends works for the Park Service. She's a ranger who works around the National Mall and Rock Creek Park through the district, and she is not getting back pay as of right now, and essentially has been furloughed for the last, several weeks, and she's really pissed off about that, as she should be.
Yeah, she should.
Because it looks like, from what she was saying, that they're not getting back pay, that Park Service is not getting.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So much for rent, right? Jeez.
Yes, guys, I agree with what you're saying, Elizabeth. You have an expectation when you have a job to turn up and pay that service. So I can understand if you decide not to go into work and paying you, but not paying you because they've told you that you can't come into work. That's pretty harsh. That's crossing a line as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I'm not going to argue that at all. Although I can if we wanted to go.
You can argue anything.
That would be fun to take a topic. I'm still going to vote for this, and then we all have to draw. Like we roll a dice a week before, and you chooses what side of the topic you have to support.
He used to make us do that in our high school history classes, and I used to hate it because I always had to argue the side of the argument I hated. It just to be luck of the draw. It's like I know shitloads about the side of this argument because it's the side I agree with. I know nothing about this, and now I've got to try and pretend like I care.
You see through my plan.
You're right.
Toei says it's also a bit of a life lesson for many. If you're a normal person who works for the government directly, you are expendable. I've learned that lesson through working for really anybody ever. It's
you're not wrong. I think you have to a certain extent these days, accept that unless you work for a tiny mom-and-pop style business.
Even then, you're expendable.
You're a figure on a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
the face of commerce has changed to the point where the labour market doesn't need to be something that you invest heavily in because it's so imminently replaceable because everyone's so desperate.
Yep. So we have entered the third hour.
Hey, the happy hour.
That's right. Still no Ed. We have hosts, but we don't have
I apologise. I just had one of those moments of genuine curiosity. I was like, I'm going to ask these guys.
Oh, it's understandable. Do you want to explain what's going on with Brexit to us?
Okay, definitely. But give me 2 minutes because that's like taking 2.5 years of bickering like small children and condensing it down into 3 sentences.
We just did it.
Has it been 2.5 years?
But yeah, that is a good summary of Brexit. Brexit was an acceptable idea, executed at entirely the wrong moment for wholly the wrong reasons, with the populace that were voting on it completely misled by both sides of the argument about exactly what it was they were voting. And I think it's going to be more political suicide than people realise. It's not necessarily something we shouldn't have done, but we shouldn't have done it now, and we shouldn't have done it the way we've done.
So, I know it was due to go to vote again today?
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, in the last sort of hours, I haven't managed to keep up with anything because I'm back out of work.
Okay.
So, I can't tell you what the absolute latest of Brexit is.
Well, I know in the past 2 weeks, it was supposed to go to vote like 3 different times.
I'll put my hands up as well. When you talk about American politics, I'm a bit of a devil's advocate, but I freely admit, and for anyone who's not watched, I'll say this again, when it comes to British politics, everything you hear from me is biased by my own personal opinion. I'm not in any way attempting to be neutral of the road for the sake of accuracy.
Are you pro-Theresa May or anti-Theresa May? Do I have her name? Anti.
Is that her name?
Anti, what a vile, horrendous woman in her short term in office compared to some. She's done more damage to the social and political infrastructure of the country than anybody since Thatcher.
Interesting.
But that's my point of view. Again,
Right.
I freely encourage open discussion. So please, if you're interested in British politics, don't just take my point of view. Do go and read some stuff online. Make your own mind up.
It all sounds wonderfully familiar. So,
You
anyhow.
take time to have a good chuckle about the Duke of Edinburgh crashing his Range Rover this week.
What happened?
Probably spilled his whiskey.
The Queen's husband was in a road crash with a road user in nearly Sandbrook State and totaled his Range Rover.
The Queen's husband. So he's like 120?
The Queen is 21. The Queen never aged.
No, that her
The
husband.
husband.
Her husband. He's actually only 27 himself, but he looks like that because he's fueled by vile racism.
Very good. By the way, Wynn says, I'm following with...
I was going to say, which is ironic for a man who married into a fat German. But
Wynn says, I'm following with great interest regarding the European Union, all the resistance to Germany and its bitch France trying to take over Europe again.
The problem is that for a long time, Europe has made no bones about the fact that they are essentially looking to create, and you can give it whatever political terms expedient time, a European state, a conglomeration of countries that has world global bloc power to negotiate and compete with massive powers like China and the US. Because currently the fact that Europe is the largest landmass divided into so many little countries that don't get on with each other at all makes them extremely vulnerable politically to large political blocs. So there's a movement in a lot of countries in Europe a long time to create a united Europe that can stand on its own in the global political arena.
Right, that'd be the European Union,
The problem with that is that the agendas of that united nation are not necessarily the agenda of all of those conglomerate countries that make it up, and it's not necessarily a great deal for everybody. Which is why my personal opinion is that Brexit's not necessarily a bad idea in terms of separating ourselves from being tied into that. But Britain have done it for all the wrong reasons. They've done it largely over the issue of immigration. It was very much sold to the British public as a kind of, do you want to keep Johnny Foreigner out of the country? Vote Brexit. But both sides of the argument lied. Leave lied, Remain lied. There's evidence come out since the vote of political fixing, of people being charged and for misleading the public with the advertising at the time. It's an absolute shambles. We've made a mockery of ourselves, damaged relationships with countries in Europe just by making ourselves look weak and vulnerable, if not by actually offending them. It's just a massive political fiasco.
Okay. Oh, let's shift gears here and move in a different direction. Let's see, we got anything good? Anybody got anything off the top of their head? Is that whiskey?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, there you go.
Funny little story about human nature and how our focus is definitely not always a good thing. Okay, so I get to the hotel for MarsCon and I'm all geared up and I'm bartering with a friend. I read some of his novel and I'm giving him advice as best I can from a screenwriter point of view. And I've been thinking, I had to teach all day at school. And it had been in the back of my mind of things I wanted to say, and I'm just itching to get working on it. And I got working on it for about 20 minutes in this gymnasium full of screaming children and families, and just plug my headphones in and I'm working. And then I have to help someone else with a private tutoring session and this and that. And so I finally get to the hotel. It's 4:15. And I'm at the front desk. Okay, I should be checked in. I want to get upstairs and start writing. By the time I get all the luggage upstairs, it's now 4:30. I just throw the computer on the desk and I get to work. And it just flowed out, all these thoughts and notions and new discoveries. And I look at the clock and it's been 45 minutes. I've been sitting at this desk. And I think, I could really use a beer. Right? So I'm on vacation. I'm at MarsCon. I open a beer, I lean back in my chair and take a sip, and I realize, oh, my car is still parked in the front of the hotel. Run down the stairs, run all the way out, and it's still there. It's not towed. I'm getting ticketed. And I move my car, and I'm giggling all the way. Just like, oh my God. And it's just a funny thing that sometimes you have a need to express yourself that's so overwhelming, it overrides all common sense and situational awareness. And it was the one sip of beer that saved me.
You're like, I'm not driving. Wait a minute, where's my car?
Wait a minute.
Wynn says, did you hear about the guy in Iowa who won $1 in the state lottery and made the lottery make him one of those giant fake checks to pose with? I like that guy's moxie.
I want a giant check.
I didn't know you could make them make you a check.
Fuck yeah.
Since you brought that up, you just saved me the hassle of the reply I was just about to type to that, which is to say there was a brilliant thing. There's an archaic, they've changed it now, an archaic British law that the personal cheque, like a banking cheque, was valid written on anything as long as all the information was provided correctly. And there was a guy who once paid a parking fine with a cheque that he had shaved into the side of a live cow. Just turned up at the bank with a live cow, the cheque for the money that he had shaved into the side, and just went, there you go.
Oh my God. That is fact.
I want to see the teller put that in their drawer.
They have to run it through that machine first.
No money.
Breaking news from Walt
New money,
Disney
new
World.
problems.
Hey,
Dun, 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 dun. Breaking news.
Apparently the pyro guys caught the castle on fire this evening during the firework show.
Oh, shit.
What castle?
Cinderella's castle in Disney World caught on fire this evening.
Damn.
are there pictures?
Cinders were
The
everywhere.
princess is in a different castle.
Let's find out if there are pics.
Wow.
Like, I'm just wondering if they're...
Breaking news here.
Yeah.
On Talk in the Tavern.
I mean, like, flames shooting out of the top.
That would be great.
No, that's from May 17th. Apparently this is not the first time. Because I'm seeing it from May 17th, or May 10th, 2017, January 23rd, 24th, and 29th, which
Holy
those haven't even happened yet. So these are all in the past. Here's July 5th, 2018, January 6th, 2013. This is not terribly uncommon. 2011, minor fire broke out on the roof of Cinderella's castle.
Because she's so hot.
Jeepers, this is... I'd almost feel disappointed if it didn't catch fire when I go there next time.
Toei says, new
Apparently
Disney
there
show,
are no
Flamtasia.
pictures, and it wasn't really visible on the outside of the castle, but it took 4.5 fire extinguishers to extinguish the fire.
Not visible on the outside, except for the screaming people leaping from the upper balcony.
Seen Toei's comment in the chat?
No.
Andrea read
The
it.
new Disney show, Flamtasia.
Oh,
I heard you.
nice.
Oh, bunny listens to me.
What?
Bird.
Fire. Well, you are setting off a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
I think like a fireworks show every night in the middle of the desert. Whoop, whoop.
Apparently the netting that the Christmas lights are attached to went up when a firework went off too close.
Wow.
Good times.
The place I used to work at before the place I work now, which is part of the same company, a place called Ride Castle, is actually featured in our company's fire safety video. There's a page that literally says, "Why is fire safety so?" and then shows you a photograph of the gutted building after it burned down. And that was fireworks. They let some dickhead who was having a wedding there set off one of those, like a whole fireworks show in one box. The kind of, if you've got the money, you can buy it and set it off yourself at home. And he had one of those. He's like, "Can we set it off from the roof?" What, off this 400-year-old castle. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
you're good.
problem, mate.
Yeah.
And of course, one of them fell over sideways, went through a window on a roof, a building on the roof, and because the castle was literally an old construction with a key middle of like a massive chimney, as soon as the roof gave way, it just gutted the entire building. £3.7 million to refit it.
That's an expensive wedding.
He's not getting his deposit back.
Because they had to restore it exactly as it was. Because it's a listed building.
Burning mouse.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo, alakazuma, bibbidi boom, bibbidi bobbidi boo. Burn down the castle, and what do you got? Tourists and flakes, not you.
I just realised as well, it's just its name. It's not actually a castle. That does sound like an incredibly pretentious English thing to say, doesn't it? Yes, the castle are you currently.
And
Whatever.
it's the castle I burnt down.
An English.
Is that the one we went to?
Yeah.
The one we went to? Oh, that was a pretty place.
When did that happen,
We didn't do it.
Kevin?
The Ride Castle fire. I'll find out. It's a few years ago. Long before I was there. Since I've been living in Ride.
That's fine. We wanted to make sure it wasn't.
the road.
We wanted to make sure it wasn't since we had visited.
No. Oh God, no. 2012.
Oh. Okay. Is that where I left my fireworks?
Hmm.
That's funny.
So let's see. What else? Is there any? I don't think. Is there anything else about MarsCon that we wanted to discuss? That we can discuss on air. I think we're good then. Everything with MarsCon is good. Elizabeth, you got any other stories from MarsCon you want to discuss, or?
Oh, hang on, let me check my notes.
Okay.
She has notes.
Yes, I said it. No.
I drink a lot of orange juice.
But that moment of creating, it's fun. It's really important, I would say, anyone who's a writer, to have people, all sorts that you can exchange your work with, including people better or worse than you, or talented or farther in the career, or however you want to say it. Because when you critique, you have to find something to change or something to help or a way to help them. And you always learn when you have to try to teach someone. You end up learning more than you teach. And it so strengthens your work. And it's really fun to try to inspire people too. I think the very last sentence I wrote, I said, only you can prevent you from writing.
I was going to say prevent forest
you
fires.
Finish your writing. Right on.
Only you can prevent castle fires.
Okay, this is a funny story. Okay, so I get all decked up. It's my first cosplay costume. I gave it a shot. And I dressed as Pickled Rick. And I'm on my way to judge a costume contest. And I just thought I really wanted to go sit in the bar and have a drink like Pickled Rick, because it's Rick, right? But I couldn't get there. But as I'm walking, someone we know approached me, someone I was not really interested in speaking to, a married person who keeps bothering me, a married man. And of course he didn't tell me he was married, but you find out these things. And he says, oh, hey, Elizabeth, oh, you look great. I said, oh, hey, hi, okay. Kind of in a rush. And he says to me, oh, have you heard about the Klingon jail? And I say, oh yeah, I have heard, yeah. Yeah, no. And he says, no, you need, here, let me show you. Come, let me show you. And I say, no. I cannot give you my time. I have judging to do. I am judging the costume contest. I'm on my way right now. I gotta go, right? And he says, no, you'll really want to see this. And I turned and I took off running away from him, yelling, not my first con! Not my first con!
And
I do not want to get into this game of, now you're arrested and in the jail and you can't leave and I'm trying to help find out, So I just ran all the way to the room and I got there in record time. That was for you, Andrea. That was for you.
appreciate that. Cheers.
I'm no fool. I'm not an expert, but really? Let me go look.
What is your concept of the Stranger Danger movie?
There's a movie?
No, but I said Stranger Danger. She's like, that's hilarious. We should do that movie. I'm really curious
Danger.
what that movie would be like.
I bet you are.
Toey, I love it, Toey.
First thought is a public service announcement. Stranger danger. Yelling the steps can help you survive a catastrophe.
By the way, Toey just made a comment there. Wynn says...
Yeah, you want me
Go
to
ahead.
read it?
Yes,
I
please.
love
Go ahead.
this. I love this. Toey says, I like to dress like Mallory Archer at cons and sit at the bar and bitch about my son. It's extra fun when people don't know the character. Love it.
I have to admit, I really enjoyed acting drunk all day.
You were acting?
That's incredible. You must have researched your role.
For all of my cosplay. I realized I could do Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
Well, if you talk to him nicely. I have a picture and you crossed your eyes and it is hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're pickled Rick and you're like, let me cross my eyes. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, I have to send you that. It's so funny.
Send me that photo. I'd love to see it. I did. I would take pictures of people and then I would say, no, let me look more drunk. Hang on. It's a beautiful thing.
That's fun. Oh, you could be Beetlejuice. I know where to get... Yeah, we can get jackets and stuff. We could do this.
And anything else? That was the big thing. I'm not going to get arrested. I don't play that game. I got stuff to do. Okay.
That's good, Toey. That's an interesting story concept. Wynn says Stranger Danger could be a film about someone with amnesia who only remembers that someone is trying to kill them. Elizabeth, did you hear that?
I did.
Okay. Real quick, for a public service announcement, I'm going to post my other Twitch stream where I spend most of the week at, so feel free to join that if you like.
I want to see Travis leaning out of a van. Hey.
Yeah, you
want
do.
some candy?
Oh my goodness.
Puppies. I got a puppy in here.
Candy puppies? That's horrible. You just take a puppy, put him on a stick, and dip him in caramel.
Oh, you got it. I got it. I got the theme song already. I'm drawing. I'm talking. I'm writing. It's all bedlam here. How you doing, Kevin?
Playing with the cat unless you're whipping yourself over there.
I'm good.
Well,
I'm hanging in there. I'm pleased to have made it this week and fallen asleep like a dickhead waiting for the show to start like I did last week.
Oh, there's a picture. I can't see you guys. Andrea sent me a photo.
It looks like a great release.
I always used to be in the habit, because of the late hour of the show, I always used to be in the habit of setting an alarm to remind me it was like half an hour till showtime. But unfortunately, because I'm nearly always working these days, and I tend to get in literally just after the show is starting, I've got out of the habit of doing it. So yeah, while you were pondering where I might have got to last week, I was snoring loudly on my sofa.
We know.
If only I'd had foresight to turn the webcam on. I fell asleep.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
Those notifications over there.
What?
I don't know. Why did they?
I don't know.
What?
Discord has now started putting chat notifications that like pop up in the bottom on my second monitor screen without me ever telling it to.
Don't tell you what to do.
A lot of free software.
The one thing I do really like about MarsCon is I like how the staff has taken to dressing up. They don't have to.
The hotel
Some do.
staff.
Yes. I spoke a lot with them, and they expressed how much fun it is to have groups such as ours come in where they can engage, and all of a sudden the hotel is just a little bit different, a little less corporate. They didn't use that word for it. I'm using that word. A little, a little more artistic, and they really enjoy it. It's different. It gives them a change. And stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot of good coming out of an event like this, and I think it sometimes gets overlooked, but it does affect an awful lot of people in a good way.
Yeah, and the one guy that works the desk, he's been dressing up for years, and this year he wore a tutu and a picture of a tooth stapled to his chest or whatever. He was the tooth fairy. It was great.
Yes, he was. He was fun.
Oh yeah.
You move the table closer for him?
Yeah, so he can get over here.
Nice. Good times.
I'm just gonna take pictures of my cat.
Welcome to Talk the
That was
Tavern. Cat photography.
Talk about that.
Toei commented on the van thing, saying this is better than luring victims with a van, and it's a picture of a very plain building on a hill in large letters written, "Come see my cat."
Free drinks for all.
Yeah, I would definitely be. And
That's funny.
as I said before, if you haven't followed the other channel, please go ahead and follow that and come hang out with me during the week when you're bored. I'm kind of looking at most of you guys have
Almost dropped it.
already been there and done that. But I don't know if Zach and Heather is still here. Zach's still here. So, there's that. That's my World of Warcraft stuff, if you guys are so inclined. He looks very...
His eyes are so tiny.
He's a little derpy there.
Oh, little otter.
It's So does anybody have anything exciting going on this week?
Not this week. Next week.
What happens next week, Chris?
Next week I go to Vectorworks training.
Oh, what's that mean?
Yeah.
Vectorworks is the CAD program we use to do theatrical drawings, and the theater is sending me to the first 2 training sessions of the beginner and intermediate essentials to use the program, because I've never actually learned to use it. It's been, here's the program, and everything I know how to do I figured out on my own, or Googled at some point on how they want to do it.
Like me in every office system I use for our company then.
Pretty much.
But this is actual certified, I'll get a little certificate that says I have been certified in...
Before I
have a scratch and sniff on it.
When I first bought this house, I was single, and I moved in with 3 friends of mine as a kind of lad share. And one of them was a CAD designer, and he was amazing.
Uh-oh. Did Kevin fell off the earth?
No, he's pausing for dramatic effect.
Please don't, man.
Oh, there he is. Welcome back. Did Fred go, you're
sorry.
done. Click.
So, one of my old housemates was a CAD, and he had one of those infrared measures, so you put against the, and he measured and then went away again. And when he came back, flipped open, when he moved in and stuff, first thing he did was open up the laptop, and he'd created a 3D model furniture. So as his dad was helping him stuff up the stairs, he was just looking, yeah, this is going over. And literally within half an hour from an empty room to set.
That's funny. That's cool.
He now works for an company, Guru, and he did design. That's just a beginning.
Wow. What a guy.
Toei
Talent.
does say that I finally get to start streaming again this week. Did you finally get your computer set up and fixed and newenized? Why is he drinking your drink through the straw?
I don't know.
Squeeze it
He's a
so it
cat.
goes poof. It's
Cat.
What is he drinking?
My tea. He's smelling it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, that's weird. Is there
He
crack in
likes
it?
rum.
In all the years that Fred, perhaps he's seen me drink, has come best, Betty.
hold on 1 second,
Next.
Kevin. Kevin,
You're-
hold it just a moment.
no.
I don't know about Chris, Elizabeth. Are you hearing him clearly, or is he cutting in and out?
He's cutting in now.
Okay, Kevin, can you go ahead and disconnect from the call and reconnect just after 2 seconds?
Okay, everybody turn off the lights. Give me a hand count.
Hide.
Duck, he's back. Okay, and give me a quick nursery rhyme or something to
There once was a
to
cat.
check your
Can you-
sound, please. Go ahead.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Keep
talking.
going. Keep going.
Tell us a story.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Okay,
9,
you're better.
10.
Oh, you can
Well, that just
count.
proves your theory. You can count.
I've always said Kevin counts for something.
Oh.
I can
Okay.
only count to 11. That's the number of fingers I've got.
So you were starting a
Well,
new
if you
story.
count your tooth, that's 12, right?
So you told us about your roommate that set up a laser and measured the house and set up his stuff real quick.
Yeah.
I think I got the gist of that story. What was the next thing you were talking about?
I can't remember now.
Damn it. Well,
Can't have been that important.
maybe. It's Win also says the computer is new and Bill's gone back to DC, so it's back to Twitch nonsense. Nice. It's why is he pacing him? What is Giraffe?
I
is
don't.
just
They're about to race. I don't know. They're head to head. Jump.
he dropped your little teeny kitty blanket.
I'm not done with it, but you can.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Look, she made me a bib. It's sexy, isn't it?
Only when you're
It's
just
very
wearing
becoming.
that.
I'm not sure what it's becoming, but it's very becoming.
It's my dickie.
That's what I was going to say. I couldn't think of it.
It's my new, very soft and fluffy loincloth. Summer edition. Notice it's short.
I thought it was winter edition because it's short.
Surely it's barely wide enough, Travis.
Well, ever since that infection, you're correct. Like an exploding cigar. Horrifying. The tip is floured and brown. It's
Rather bizarrely, talking of cigars, you know, I said I was going to smoke that last one I had from you on
Yes.
at Christmas. Well,
Yeah.
I did. It never happened, the chance to do that.
You didn't say which
so
Christmas.
I enjoyed it a week ago in the freezing cold in the middle of nowhere on an abandoned campsite whilst I was waiting 2 hours for my son to finish a Muay Thai boxing class.
so you were kidnapped and you had the cigar with you.
I voluntarily went to my friend owns, it used to be a campsite, the kind of place where you go and pay to pitch your tent camp. But it's not used anymore. So there's a series of abandoned buildings there, and in one of them he's built a gym and Muay Thai boxing training ring.
Like
My
Fight Club that you
son's
don't talk about.
Yeah, kind of. And my son's going for lessons up there.
Why do you come
I
into
took
the
him
woods to this?
for his session the other week, and I had to wait for him, so I went outside and enjoyed the cigar and the freezing sub-zero temperatures.
In an abandoned campground set up for fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so
So we
legit.
roll on the island, you know, start them young.
It's like, we don't have guns, so when the revolution comes, we put the kids first.
10 out of 10 if you recognise where that quote came from with my appalling accent.
It's
Say it again.
I've got a bare knuckle fight in a couple of days. I want to use the pikey.
Oh, that was that,
lock, stock.
In one. Well done, that one.
Yeah, that was going to be my guess. You like dags?
Dags?
You like dags?
Caravan for me ma. With upholstery, the periwinkle blue. Amazing.
Yay!
Sells
job,
for
Chris.
and $3.
Keep it in mind.
I love Snatch, but don't get me started on Lock, Stock. I can pretty much quote the whole movie from start to finish.
He loves Snatch, and his friend has a place where people pay to pitch their tents. Oh my god.
It's an abandoned tent pitching. That happens with age. Now they just fight.
We don't talk about that.
That also happens with Edge.
They just train young boys to beat up others.
How's the drawing going? I'm very curious now.
It's the opposite of a
I
gelatin.
am not lifting this.
Can I just point out, by the way, just to add an air of legitimacy to Andy's very worthwhile gym, that actually 3 fighters from Conflict Muay Thai have just been selected to represent Great Britain in the World Championships this year.
Really?
And they trained at Andy's gym?
Championships.
I'm in Europe somewhere this year. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, something in my head's telling me Sweden, but I'm probably entirely wrong about that. But yeah, it's somewhere in Europe this year. But yeah, he's 3 of his juniors. None of his adults made it through, but he teaches kids as well. Everyone from the age of I think 8 upwards. Teaches in schools as well. He occasionally goes in and does, like an odd PE lesson or something where he does demonstrations and stuff with kids. But there's quite a few younger local kids that parents take them up and stuff. So there's like a little viewing bit along one side of the gym, some chairs and a couple of leather sofas where parents can sit and wait for the kids and watch.
And smoke cigars.
Apparently.
No, you got to go outside for that. That would be quintessentially Rocky style otherwise. If I was sat in the corner on a leather sofa puffing on a cigar watching my son kick someone's ass.
And there's a valuable thing to being the ass kicker and being the ass kicked. You can learn a lot from both ways.
I heartily approved because at one point during his first training session, completely by accident, he caught Andy, my friend who was partnering him at the time. He caught him in the nuts. So Andy immediately stepped in and swept him and dropped him on his ass on the mat, which I heartily applauded.
That was fun. Once again, there's lessons to all endless stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is Andy wearing a cup?
No.
No, I mean, I support him. My nipper's smart. We raised him not to be stupid, so he's not learning to be violent. He's learning to defend himself, and he's smart enough to know the difference when to use it and when not to use it. Because he knows if he uses it in the wrong place, his dad's still better than him. I'll kick his ass for it. Welcome back, Your Majesty.
He was out driving the Range Rover.
Yeah, he was. It's the dog next door.
Yeah, but Fred can't possibly be racist, though, because he's both black and white. He's the Michael Jackson of the cat.
Well, if you had bought him in Asia, he'd be a fucking panda.
A fucking panda? Wow.
Yeah, they probably do them in Asia.
They probably do, and they charge extra for the underwear.
Oh god.
I'm not surprised. Can you imagine how expensive it would be to mail a pair of panda underpants? They'd be enormous.
I didn't know pandas wore them.
Shipping fee alone to consider, you know.
That's the marketing phrase, panda underpants. For your furry pleasure.
For your furry pleasure.
You can't own panda underpants, you can only rent them.
Oh no. I didn't mean a real panda.
That sounds like a bit part character in a Star Wars movie. I am Panda Underpants.
I have a story for you.
Oh no.
Kevin, you probably remember Robert Turk, who played Gandersnitch.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He was there this weekend. He hung out with us, and he came on the show, matter of fact. But he was...
Is he alright?
He's doing great. Yeah, he's doing very well. He's pumping out the games. He's working full-time as a game designer.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But he told us a story about when, before he was a game designer and before he wrote his first book, he used to make leather masks and stuffed animals, stuffed goblins, and he would sell them and whatnot. And there was one time he got a phone call and it says, "This is the inspector. We need to inspect your items and we're here at your P.O. box. What's your actual address where I can find you?" And he went, "Well, I'm in a house. It's a small thing." And they're like, "Yeah, where are you? Because, we're the state of Ohio. We're coming." And they go to his house and they, he's like, "I want to warn you, we have a dog. Are the animals around your production?" He's like, "No, not at all." Brings him upstairs to the room where they make these stuffed animals. And the woman looks around and she picks up one of the stuffed animals or stuffed goblins and she's squeezing and it's like, "Feels like just polyfill." He's like, "Yeah, there's bags of it everywhere. It's polyfill." And she's like, "You know what I'm doing, right?" And he's like, "No, I have no idea." And she's like, "Well, I'm looking for other foreign material inside the stuffed animal." And he's like, what? What do people put in there? She's like, "You'd be surprised. Today alone, I have shut down somebody who used cat fur, cat litter, nails."
Fingernails or nails?
That's what I asked Robert. Basically, like 3-penny nails. They said they were using them as like a weight so it doesn't tip over. But yeah. And this just relates to what we were talking about before, as with
People
the animal
suck.
fur and stuff like that. It's and she's like, "You're doing everything right. You'll never have another surprise visit. You will always have a call beforehand from now on because you're following the rules." Can you imagine going, "Let's put some fucking nails in this one," or fill it with cat
I
fur,
thought it was
or cat
only
litter?
in Halloween candy.
You can't use a whole nail. You have to use a needle because the nails stick out both sides of the candy.
Well, not if you use those big candy bars. Beware the
I'd have
houses.
had my shit well hidden away. I've been a chef for 22 years. I'm well used to the concept of a surprise inspection by some kind of Nazi representing the state. We call them the environmental health officers.
Kevin, do you care to read the comment from Wynn?
Ohio stuffed animal squad.
What a stupid job is the final part of that comment. Yeah.
After hearing that, I don't want to be on that job.
I know. I'm like,
That's a hell of a commute anyway.
Had they called you for that job?
Yesterday, because they had a nail incident.
When my troubles?
What, your nipples?
Oh, point of order. This morning, I got up and I checked YouTube just to give me something to listen to and crawl out of bed. The first video that came up was the proper way to pour a cuppa.
Milk first.
They insist on steeping a cup for 5 minutes.
Good for them.
I'm not waiting that long.
It's cold by that long.
The biggest asset to anybody making a proper cup of tea is patience.
Yeah, I ain't got that.
Can you buy that at Walmart?
No.
Yeah.
Or do we just have to kidnap an Amish girl?
No, but she can be on the street, on the corner. You can just
We had Amish people in today. Either Amish or Mennonites. I don't know.
Real quick, Kevin, it's for you. Victoria says, "Just a quick hello. Been writing and promoting all weekend and dealing with more snow."
You should pop on over to England, Victoria. I'll warm you up.
Wynn says, "I've been to
I will
workshops."
genuinely. I've got a whole range of halogen heaters in the house.
There you go. Wynn says, "I've been..."
Nice rocks.
Well, failing that, I've got a 6x3x3 with a Varium that's spare at the moment. It's set up to heat up to around 92 degrees. So you'd be like laying on the beach in Barbados.
Oh, yeah.
Halogen based.
Chris, would you care to read Toey's comment?
I've been to tea workshops. They're fun and interesting, but I've forgotten everything they taught me.
Drink tea and be happy.
This is why they're
That's
always.
all.
This is why you find them always fun and interesting to go to. It's always it's the gift that keeps on giving, just like tea.
It's a diuretic. It's good to see you, Victoria. So what were you doing all weekend that you were promoting? Were you promoting online or were you at events?
Do we have a topic for next week?
Chris, are you hitting your mic with the breath? Is that you or someone else?
I'm not.
That's
Is
Kevin.
that Kevin?
Victoria's on. Of course he's breathing heavy.
No, my mic is actually super low.
I don't think so. Not yet.
Probably me. I'm stretching out. I'm drawing. I'm working. I'm sorry. I'll
It's
bring
okay.
this over.
I'm just checking. I mean, we don't mind heavy breathing. We just like to know
I
why.
thought you... Focused.
Do we have a topic for
No.
next?
I haven't drawn in so long. Oh.
Well, we have 5 minutes. I was just trying to.
You get that shot 5 minutes.
No.
I should have brought the board, and we could have done like Pictionary on the show.
What is Spagball?
Hey, did somebody say Bob? How you doing? How you doing? Look at that pussy. International pussy here. I'm talking to Devin. Yeah. Alright. Andrea. How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, damn me.
How you doing?
Why is he so quiet and near and so loud and far?
Because he's far.
Yeah. Show me what you got. Oh, it was so much fun. I only got 5 minutes. What are we going to talk about?
We're going to do a closing toast here so we don't have to worry about it later. So, here's to what, Victoria says. Here's to black and white pussy.
Here.
I'll drink to that.
And every other color of pussy. Except green and purple. That's horrible.
Blue.
Famous multiple times tonight, Fred.
There you can.
Of the show, we now have to go a word about your contract.
I tried to get the other pussies
So let's have it now featuring Fred Cam. Just get Fred to do the show and I'll provide the voice. Alright, I'm Fred.
So Elizabeth can have Spagball, Kevin can have Fred, and
Chris is just Baby Shark.
Look, Fred's getting into his role already. He's immediately doing a Kev and looking off screen and showing you nothing with the top of his head. Then.
He needs a little cigarette out of his paws.
good night, Tempe. Thanks for hanging out the whole show.
Bye,
Hopefully you got some work
Tempe.
done. And
Good night, Tempe.
Victoria asks, is that the pop pickle again? I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe Spagball? That is a Spagball, which is a term for when you order spaghetti and meatballs and you get one meatball and it's huge. It's a Spagball.
Somebody say bye.
Good night, Zoe.
We can get your slut bagel, Clemmy
Zoe.
Fit bagel.
Good night, Terry.
Good night, Joey. It's
Hey, Brad. I don't think Spagball wants to be friends with Ted. Fred.
Ted.
they both want to be the alpha ball.
Oh, Fred, look at his cool little face.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's so cute.
Fred.
Otter. It's okay, Otter. Giraffe. Oh, look at his little face.
There's Giraffe back there, seeing if he can knock a picture
What a
down.
nose. He's just not into this.
And then the last 5 minutes of their show were just close-ups with the cat.
Well, and then here's Otter.
It
He's
made
in
it
front of the camera.
so much better.
Oh, he's so soft. He's soft like that.
Well, they have the puppy bowl and the kitty bowl during the Super Bowl.
I have the
halftime,
toilet bowl.
What? Toilet bowl. Diary bowl.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Nice.
He's so happy.
Kitty.
Victoria would like to pet your Fred.
He loves it. He's a little tart. No, Bob.
What a guy. What a guy.
Okay, everybody say goodnight. We're out of here. We'll catch you again next week where we'll make up a topic on the spot.
Say goodnight, Fred. Good night, Fred.
Good night, Fred.
Bye.
Woo!
Don't forget to join us at the tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day, and steamy dreams every night.
And don't forget, guys, in about 10 minutes, we'll be on the other channel hanging out. Have a good one.